acquired their technology in a period where the world was not committed to inspection regimes and keeping other nations from getting involved. It was in the very early days of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty.
Proliferation, yeah.
So the world hadn't been committed to enforcement at that point. They just kind of said it would be a really good idea if people didn't get nukes, and kind of expected people to not pursue them.
Do you know that bin Laden was once reported to have been on the table bargaining for some ex-Soviet warheads?
Oh, I believe it. I would be shocked if some bad person somewhere doesn't have a nuke. I mean, besides the bad people we know have nukes. But I don't think Iran has control of nukes.
Inshallah.
Forward, rarely has a tarot deck created more pre-publication interest than the long-awaited Golden Dawn Tarot Pack by Dr. Robert Wang. A devoted scholar and researcher of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn counted among its members some of the foremost occultists and writers of its time, and as a part of their sacred oath they were sworn to secrecy. Based upon the esoteric notebooks of some of its members and with the skillful and perceptive guidance of Dr. Israel Regardie, probably the leading author scholar in the occult field today, Dr. Robert Wang has faithfully rendered in authentic detail each card of the Golden Dawn Tarot Pack. U.S. Game Systems Incorporated is pleased to publish the Golden Dawn Tarot, thus revealing for the first time many truths and secrets of the order and its interpretation of the tarot. Today, there is a large variety of tarot packs available to occultists, collectors, researchers, and art students. The early Visconti Sforza tarot cards, Tarot of Marseille deck, Atala Tarot, 1JJ Swiss Tarot, and Tarot Classics packs each predate the Golden Dawn Tarot. Since the turn of the century, many new tarot packs have been designed and published, each containing their own special refinements and interpretation of the allegorical symbols on the 22 major arcana cards. With the publication of the Golden Dawn Tarot, an important missing link in the development of tarot now comes to light. Importantly, the Golden Dawn Tarot can be studied with other popular packs designed and executed by former members of the Golden Dawn. These packs include the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, painted by Pamela Coleman Smith under the direction of Arthur Edward Waite, the builders of the Aditum Bota Tarot deck, issued under the direction of Paul Foster Case, and the Crowley Thoth Tarot deck, painted by Lady Frida Harris under the guidance of Aleister Crowley. An avid tarot collector may own as many as 20 or more different tarot decks. Each pack has its own special features, and the imagery on the cards is like the pages of a finely illustrated book to be studied and savored a little bit at a time. At each sitting, one sees and understands a little more of the meaning and significance of each card. We believe the Golden Dawn Tarot deck is an important rare book in the field of tarot, and we are pleased to make it available to the scholar and student of tarot. A partial list of additional tarot decks and important tarot books is cited at the back of this booklet for the convenience of the reader. Stuart R. Kaplan, New York, New York. Notes on the Golden Dawn Tarot by Robert Wang. The Golden Dawn Tarot is the only truly esoteric deck ever to be published. It is also the only deck to reach public view which was designed for the exclusive use of a powerful secret fraternity, and which includes the accurate tarot symbolism kept shrouded in mystery for hundreds of years by the Western esoteric tradition. The members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn swore death oaths never to reveal the images of this deck or the very fact that such a deck even existed. In other published tarot decks, there is some purposeful confusion involving the order of the cards, the attribution of the Hebrew letters to the trumps, or the symbols themselves. Those who issued the most popular exoteric decks in use today, Waite, Case, and Crowley, were members of the Order of the Golden Dawn, and took their membership oaths very seriously. Of those who wrote on the tarot and the occult, only Crowley released some of the Order's actual secrets. He referred to the cards both in 777 and in his extraordinary, though short-lived magazine, The Equinox. The Golden Dawn Tarot is of particular importance in that it is the deck from which some of the greatest esoteric writers of our age developed their ideas about tarot. This is the deck used by MacGregor Mathers, A.E. Waite, Don Fortune, Paul Foster Case, William Butler Yeats, and Aleister Crowley. Israel Regardie published the actual document of the order, including the lectures on tarot in the Golden Dawn, 37 to 1940, and it is Israel Regardie who today, 40 years after beginning the project of publishing the order's teaching, has seen fit to release the last great secret of the order, the Golden Dawn Tarot. The basic design of the cards, following the symbolic framework of the inner tradition, was formulated by S.L. MacGregor Mathers. Mathers was also responsible for writing most of the order's rituals, many of which related to this tarot deck. It would appear that the original cards were painted by Mrs. Mathers, an accomplished artist, though they were never printed. The original deck was lent to members of the Inner Order. After experiencing the profound and beautiful ritual of initiation into the grade of Adeptus Minor, one of their tasks was to hand-paint a copy of the esoteric tarot deck. Members of the Outer Order were given some cryptic and obtuse information about tarot in general, and were instructed to experiment with simple methods of divination using whatever exoteric decks were at hand. The essential purpose of the tarot is to teach. The deck of 78 cards is actually a book of symbols expressing concepts about the nature of the universe and man's relationship to that universe. The study of this book may appear complex and often frustrating, but it is vastly rewarding, because to learn about the tarot is to learn a useful new language. Sadly, for several decades, the tarot has been the object of ridicule by both advocates of scientific rationality and by those stalwartly religious persons who sincerely believe that anything called occult must involve the black arts. But it is in fact unusual to find such criticism among either scientists or churchmen who have taken the trouble to explore objectively and in depth the system which underlies the tarot. In principle, the tarot is 78 pictures, which are worth more than 78,000 words. They illustrate the energies of the Kabbalah, the body of sacred knowledge which originated with esoteric Judaism, today the Kabbalah viewed in Christian terms by some, in Jewish terms by others, and without reference to any organized religion by many, is often called the Yoga of the West. And those who would seriously pursue the meaning of the tarot must anticipate a lifetime of work, not unlike that which would be expected of a dedicated scholar in any discipline. All of the sacred books of mankind may be related by correspondence to the Kabbalah and its wordless meditation symbols, the tarot. But there is one very ancient work which is a key to the study. That work is the Sefer Yetzirah, a book of formation. Herein each of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet are described as divine symbols, as each letter is ascribed to one of the tarot trumps. So the Sefer Yetzirah also describes the divine symbolism of the tarot. The Tree of Life, as illustrated in the full color with the deck, is the primary symbolic diagram of the Kabbalah, and the cards are traditionally related to various aspects of it. The more one works with this symbol, or glyph as it is called, the more the significance of the tarot becomes clear. But this is an intensive spiritual and intellectual pursuit which cannot be adequately described in an introductory pamphlet. More detailed information will be found in an introduction to the Golden Dawn Tarot by Robert Wang, 1978, with which this deck is intended to be used. This new book includes all of the materials on tarot issued to members of the Order of the Golden Dawn. The use of the cards for divination purposes, a good introduction to the visual patterns and subtle energies of the tarot. Moreover, the cards and the information provided in these notes is all that is required to begin. The Order of the Golden Dawn used an intricate system of tarot divination, one which could take hours for a complete reading, and did not involve reversed cards. Instead, the system depended upon neighboring cards in a spread for accurate interpretation. We present here, for those who may find the Golden Dawn method to involve a simple 15-card spread, this method is quite consistent with the instruction of the Order. The interpretations of the cards given in this pamphlet were written by Mathers for the use of the Order's initiates. We publish them extracted from the philosophical discussions with which they originally appeared, and in the sequence of the suits for the first time. No correction of his occasional grammatical inconsistencies has been attempted. The cards may be either well dignified or ill dignified. This suggests the influence of the cards, which fall at either side of the card in question. This also suggests the meaning of the card reversed, ill dignified. The Order of the Golden Dawn considered the use of the cards for divination valid, but a function which operated at a relatively low level. The true worth of repeated use of the cards for answering questions is that this tends to stimulate the unconscious and help the psychic faculties to develop. Moreover, as the cards and the divinatory meanings are increasingly inculcated into the individual system, the universal meanings of the same cards become more and more apparent. The keynote of the tarot is, as in all aspects of the mystery tradition, as above, so below. The 15-card method of tarot divination. This method is not so well known as the ancient Celtic 10-card spread, but it has the advantage of depending upon neighboring cards for interpretation, eliminating the need for reversed cards, offering an enormous number of possible card combinations, and being more fluid than other methods. Before any divination, it is wise to invoke some higher force. In its simplest form, this may involve visualizing a sphere of brilliant white light over one's head and a prayer that the divine powers may guide the operation of the cards. Following this invocation, the cards should be thoroughly shuffled. This is the most important step in a divination and should be done with the mind as clear as possible. All extraneous thoughts should be eliminated, and the mind made completely passive. In the event that the divination is for a person not present, it may be helpful to visualize that person as the shuffling is taking place. The cards are then placed on a table in the sequence shown in the diagram. 1 goes in the center, 2 on the left, 3 on the right, 4 in the upper right, 5 in the upper left, 6 in the bottom left, 7 in the bottom right, 8 in the upper right, 9 in the upper left, 10 in the bottom left, 11 in the bottom right, 12 furthest upper right, 13 upper far left, 14 bottom far left, 15 bottom far right. Card 1. This represents the querent, the problems surrounding him, his present situation, and primary influences. A court card, king, queen, prince, or princess, in this position may mean either the querent or some dominant individual. This is essentially true if the court card is of the opposite sex of the querent, a person of the same sex but very unlike the querent. See general court card descriptions. May also represent a dominant influence in his life. Cards 2 and 3. These positions in conjunction with card 1 are the key cards in the spread. They give extended information on the situation and personality of the querent. Cards 4, 8, and 12. Upper right. These show what direction the querent's life will naturally follow, unless some action is taken to change this course. The stars impel, they do not compel. Cards 13, 9, and 5. Upper left. These are the possibilities for alternative action, which may be desirable or undesirable depending on the other cards in the spread. Cards 14, 10, and 6. These cards will assist the querent in making whatever decision may be necessary. In the case of an older person, the past middle age, they mean past activities and events which bear on the question. In younger persons, they indicate the future. Cards 7, 11, and 15. Lower right, these show forces operating beyond control of the querent which cannot be changed, but to which one can adapt. While a method of reverse cards is not recommended, if such a system is to be used, the position of the card should under no circumstances be altered. If a card should appear reversed, it cannot be arbitrarily turned upward. Even though the meaning may not immediately appear logical, one cannot tamper with the results of a divination. Beyond the general meanings of the cards which follow here and which should be committed to memory, a few considerations of interpretation should be mentioned. The princess and queens, when they appear in a reading, almost invariably represent actual men and women connected with the subject at hand. But the kings sometimes represent either the coming on or going off of a matter, arrival or departure, according to the way in which the cards face. The princess may show opinions, thoughts, or ideas, either in harmony with or opposed to the subject. Using any method, a majority of certain cards has special meaning. A majority of wands, energy, quarreling, opposition. Majority of cups, pleasure and merriment. A majority of swords, trouble and sadness, sometimes sickness, even death. Majority of pentacles, business, money, possessions, etc. A majority of trumps, forces of considerable strength, often karmic forces, beyond the inquirer's control. Majority of court cards, society, meeting with many persons. A majority of aces, strength generally. The aces are always strong cards. Interpretation, Major Arcana, 0, the Fool. Okay, we'll read the Major Arcana in another room. This has been the Golden Dawn Tarot book. This is the introduction. Hope you enjoyed. Now we'll move into the interpretations. This is part 1. This is Love. Thanks for joining us. This is in the Art House.
Nominate organization. Who is nominated?
No,
No,
head
no.
or whatever.
No. They actually also like a few organizations that are, I don't know how exactly, but I saw a list of
Not
organizations.
Nobel.
Basically,
It was a different Peace Prize. Nobel Peace
Yeah,
Prize
it was a
can only be
Nobel
split with
Prize.
3 people.
Yeah, but it was a representative from UNO or something. It
and
was during the Olympics that they announced it.
I will find you. Hold on.
everyone that is anti-Israel is part of this list this year, from the UN chairman to Amnesty to HRW to UNRWA. Anyone that spoke against Israel is nominated for a peace prize. And there are like 5 Palestinians in Gaza, so-called journalists like Bisan and others, that are also nominated. And those people, I follow them, and they are not journalists from Gaza. They are like mouthpieces for Hamas. And Israel has stopped the activity like two days ago, the activity of UNRWA in Israel, meaning that there will be no contact between officials in Israel and UNRWA. They will not get any more diplomatic visas, and also their immunity is revoked, so they could be charged for crimes. That is from yesterday.
So UNRWA is now irrelevant.
In Israel, it's kind of like I don't know if to say illegal, but they are like, they are not, their special status has been revoked. And it's a status that they held since 1967, until yesterday.
They no longer have a diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, part of it, yes. And also there's no communication between officials in Israel, from all the ministries to UNRWA.
I might be mixing stuff here, but remember there was a Palestinian delegation in the Olympics. Were they also represented by UNRWA?
No, well, there were like 2 boats, one of refugees from all over the world, and another one for the Palestinian nationality refugees, which was also refugees. I don't think anyone was from Gaza. They were like from all over the place. I don't get it. It's like part of this like making up reality.
What's up, Mo?
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, I want to talk about something.
Wow.
Did you know who is
That's
Sadat?
really nice of you.
Yes.
Yes, sure. He's the one who made peace with Israel.
Yeah,
And he's the one that Hamas assassinated.
No, Sadat,
Just really
the
hate you
only
today.
man in the world who is hating your country in 7 October. Sorry, in 6 October, yeah. 7 October, this is Hamas.
Wow, that's really nice of you. The Free
Yeah,
Palestine must really hate you.
Yahya Sinwar and the Sadat, fuck your country in 6 October and 7 October, yeah.
Sadat?
Sadat, yeah. Sadat, who's Anwar who died in
Yes.
the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, search on Google if you
Hold on. 1 second.
Okay.
I just want to understand. You're talking about someone that passed away years ago. How could he speak about 6th of October or 7th of October?
I talk about 6th of October because that's something you don't like.
No, I'm saying that Sadat is dead.
Are you talking about the guy that lost the Yom Kippur War, the Egyptian president, and then made peace with Israel?
Please calm down, please.
No, I'm trying to understand you. M.O. Hold on, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that Sadat said something on 6th or 7th. Hold on, let me finish the question. Hold on, because I'm asking for the...
Okay.
So hold on, let me finish my question, and then...
Go on.
So stop talking.
Stop sea lining, Mom.
It's like the 4th time that I'm asking the question, and everybody gets it except from you. You are saying that Sadat said something, but Sadat is dead. Can you make sense of what you're trying to ask us?
Sadat said in 6th of October, we are eating.
Sadat couldn't say anything on 6th of October because Sadat.
Gosh, man.
So again, M.O. Listen, you're not listening to me. M.O. Hold on, everybody. No, no, you wait.
Okay,
I will ask you
don't
very
understand why
quickly.
that's a problem. Okay, ask me.
Hold on.
Okay, I think I
Listen,
understand
Mo.
what he's referring to.
No, can you explain?
Okay, stop with your Arabic.
You understand what he said?
Yeah, I think he's saying the Yom Kippur War was started by Sadat on October 6th.
I was talking about October 6th, 50 years ago.
51 years ago. I think that's what he's trying
Okay, MO.
Not
Maybe
me.
this is what we missed. Yes, okay, got it.
So that was
They
the
don't like
other
it.
war when, yeah, the one that was the commemoration of the 50 years last year.
Right. So he's talking about the war 51 years ago
Yom Kippur.
that Sadat launched,
Guys,
lost.
please listen to me. I'm talking respectful.
Okay,
we're
just
trying
Mo.
to
I'm
No,
talking
Mo.
respectful.
Not
Well,
really.
we will listen to you.
Okay.
We will listen to you, but you need to hold on.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we're having the
holding.
partial
I'm
work.
holding.
We're trying to find out what are you.
Okay, I'm holding on.
Yeah, hold on.
We're trying to find out what you're referring to because you were not
Yeah.
explaining it correctly. We thought you were referring to the 7th of October of last year, 6th of October of last year.
Mhm.
So now we know you're talking about 51 years ago.
Because yesterday is our anniversary. Yesterday it's 6th October. This is our
So you're
our
Egyptian.
anniversary.
So you treat it as a day of mourning, right? Because you lost the Yom Kippur War.
Oh my god, man! 6th of October is yesterday. It's my anniversary. It's my country anniversary. I'm here
Of
to
what?
say.
How do they
I'm
commemorate
here to
it?
say something.
What are you celebrating yesterday?
I'm celebrating because you
No,
are nothing.
What? Not why. What are you celebrating yesterday? So we
I'm
are all
celebrating
on the same
here
page.
because I fucked you.
Mo, I
You
am
didn't
not asking
fight
you
Israel.
why.
Call me
How old are you?
Mo.
How
Call
old
me
are you?
Sadat.
I am not asking you why.
You're
I'm
not
asking
Sadat.
you
My name is
Probably not
Sadat.
even Mo.
My name is Sadat. Ask Golda Meir about Sadat.
You're not Sadat, dumbass.
Did you know Golda Meir?
Are you talking to the dead, Mo? Do you
Not
use
for-
the
Are you okay?
cemetery to talk to the dead? Is that what you do?
Emma, what's wrong with you? I'm not sure what's happening here. Like,
I sent him down. This guy's insane.
Yeah.
Like he
yeah.
thinks he's channeling the dead. Like he's celebrating a war he lost. He's
Yes.
celebrating a leader who
Yeah.
he capitulated and made peace with the Jews.
He's talking to
From his
Golda Meir.
perspective, Sadat, he's probably simultaneously thrilled Sadat was assassinated by Hamas and still using Sadat's character to try to somehow intimidate Jews.
This is the main
Or-
difference. They celebrate death.
Yes.
You could tell the delusional / miseducated ones that think that Egypt actually won the Yom Kippur War.
this is what they tell
Won
them.
the combat.
Man, this is how they're educated.
Yeah, they
They
teach
won.
them that. They don't feel the shame. You know, the fact that we made
And-
peace with them was the victory
So
for
that-
us. We didn't want to hold on to the Sinai.
Sadat, y'all didn't win back Sinai. Sadat groveled at the knees of Israel, and Israel deigned to give back Sinai on the condition that Egypt would never, ever again threaten Israel, which it hasn't, because your leadership knows the power of Israel. Your leadership knows Israel was 30 minutes from occupying Cairo. You all, the ignorant people who just want to somehow turn a loss into a win. No rational person looks at history and thinks Egypt won. Egypt lost. Egypt would have been annihilated if Israel didn't choose to not go into Cairo.
And they lost the first hour of the war. It wasn't even like a long. They lost before they were able to get a plane off the ground. It was.
That was 6-day war. That was 6-day war.
Oh, you think the Yom Kippur War? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
This
still
one was
lost.
this one was a couple of weeks longer.
It was 3 weeks. The Yom Kippur War was 3 weeks. He did say Golda Meir. He said
Don't
So
worry.
Golda Meir-
There's a good chance Israel will still have to go back and retake the Sinai. Y'all won't be laughing when that happened. Egypt was complicit with what Hamas did with those tunnels, sending weapons in through the.
And we'll sing Sharm el Sheikh again. That's
So, I mean, if you want to claim you fought Israel 51 years ago when you weren't born, I would encourage you to enlist in the army now because you might get the chance.
I get that some people believe that fetuses are living beings, but before 51 years before,
Alex, would you like to defend your brethren in Egypt that are up here claiming they won?
That's like Australians saying that the emu's lost.
Absolutely
The
not.
emus.
I wouldn't defend anyone spreading absolute lies and promoting wars. But let me ask this room a question about what happened, what began a year ago. And
Okay, can you try to ask the question without sounding self-hating and sniveling and seeking to blame Israel?
Alex is Jewish?
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff.
He's the most famous self-hating Jew on the app.
It's Jewish,
Hello,
but he just not
My
support
friend Mo want to be talking.
Your friend Mo is a moron, and the fact that you're
Yeah,
friends with him
Yeah.
doesn't make.
Okay,
No.
friends, we will bring him up later, but first we want to hear from Alex because we only can have
No,
an amount of
we
quarrels
will
on
be
stage.
respect other and just want to talk.
Okay, stay on mute from the house. What?
Okay, go on mute. Go ahead, Alex.
so I think we can all agree that Hamas has not been eliminated after a year of war with Gaza. Do you think that the people of Israel feel safer now than they did on October 6th last year?
So we're going by feelings now?
Well, hold on a second. It's an irrelevant question whether they feel safer than October 6th because they had a tremendous disaster on the 7th. Israel will not feel safer, as safe as they felt on the 6th until the enemies of Israel are destroyed and are kept out in a confident way. So your question's irrelevant. Your basis is irrelevant. Your foundation's irrelevant. Of course, they don't feel safer than they did before the attack. They feel less safe, and that's why they're going out. That's why they're going out and destroying the enemies of the Jews who want to kill you.
And it was a false sense of security because your friends and Hamas, no, shut up, Alex. Your friends and Hamas were pretending to make peace, but they were actually plotting an attack. So whether Israelis felt safe on October 6th is a feeling. The question is, are they safer now? And they're most definitely safer now because Hamas's capabilities have been neutered. They may still be around to some level of function, but they're hiding under the ground like the rats that they are. Their capabilities have been destroyed, and they no longer send missiles into Israel. Hezbollah is about half the fighting strength than they were just a month ago. Now, half of a lot is still a lot, so there's still a lot of work to be done. But to destroy your enemy 50% within a few weeks is a stunning victory. So you to come here and say the war is not over and simultaneously say Israel should accept a ceasefire just shows how broken your brain is.
So how long do you think this peace is going to last for? Yes, we've had some amazing victories against
What peace?
Hamas.
There's no peace.
It could be done tomorrow if Hamas release the hostages and lay down their arms, Alex, and you know this. You're being intentionally obtuse and not seeing reality. And they would come down you as for us,
Alex, 10 years. 10 years. It will take another 10 years to destroy Hamas. You happy now? We're 1 year in. We have 9 more years.
Listen, I mean, I'll tell you.
Hey, Alex, your solution is this.
There are some markers to indicate when a true peace has been reached, right? In the past 100 years.
You are nothing but a capo. You will never be anything but a capo. Your high-minded pursuit of peace, it's misguided, and thank God you have not procreated.
So in terms of like a lasting peace, for the past
because you shoot blanks, or because no woman would ever have you? Which?
I think Jeff is in the Matrix, Mixed.
Yes.
It's not.
No, I hear Jeff. Is Alex not here?
No, I hear Jeff too, but I think that Jeff is not listening to Mixed.
I didn't hear Mixed.
Exactly. I think that.
I thought you were just politely ignoring Mixed. I didn't know you.
I would have politely ignored Mixed, but I didn't hear him.
Go ahead, Mixed.
In terms of like a lasting peace, like right, Alex was asking how long will the peace last? There hasn't been peace yet. because the real issue, and it's at the foundation, but people sidestep it because they want to keep discussing, is a question of negotiation and leadership. There is no actual partner leading the Palestinians towards some kind of peaceful end, right? There's no Gandhi, there's no Charlemagne, there's no leader that we can say, this is the vision of Palestine for tomorrow. The only vision we have for Palestine tomorrow is war. It's the same as Palestine today. That is the leadership there. So I would love there to be peace. There has only been ceasefires since 1948, and honestly before, because there were riots and whatever. There have only been ceasefires, and when there is peace, it will not look like anything Jewish. It will look like a Palestinian Gandhi. That's what peace looks like, and we don't have it. What we have is Nasrallah, we have Yahya Sinwar, we have Iran. We do not have a Gandhi. If you want peace, find me the fucking Palestinian Gandhi.
He's been assassinated. He's been. Look, the leaders. The first assassination.
Hold on. Alex, who was the Gandhi that was assassinated?
I'll tell you. If people shut up, so I can.
Alex, it's a name.
Yeah,
just give us a name.
Who is the Gandhi? You said he was assassinated. Who was it?
Well, the first one, Ghassan Kanafani, he never held a gun, he just held a pen, and Mossad assassinated him in 1972. And
Hitler also never carried a gun. You know,
every leader of the Palestinians that Israel didn't like, they assassinated. So instead of diplomacy,
what do you mean didn't like, Alex? What do you mean didn't like?
Hold on. Even before he says, what do you mean, Alex? Which leaders are you referring to?
Did they give Arafat AIDS?
Yeah, they gave Arafat AIDS.
As a point of clarification, a Palestinian Gandhi is not a guy who writes in his room all day. He's a guy that leads the people, is a voice for his people, and has a model for a peaceful future. Show me that man.
Well, you know, there's been a lot has been happening since 1948. You know, I think we can all agree there was some.
Alex, you made a claim. I would like you to explain exactly which Palestinian leaders Israel got rid of. Since 1948, your claim was every leader Israel didn't like, Israel got rid of. So go ahead and tell us who you're talking about.
Well, up until a few weeks ago, that number's a lot higher now. But there were 32.
This is a war. These aren't assassinations.
Right.
But your claim was since 1948, they've gotten rid of every leader they didn't like. I would like you to name one.
It's 1972. I said 1972.
Can we do?
Alex, can you give us a name of a peace-seeking Palestinian leader? That is the question, Alex.
Ghassan Kanafani. I said it. You're not listening.
Can we please just nuance the question about leaders? Because we were talking about Gandhi. We need to know who the Palestinian Gandhis are.
No. Andre, with respect, that's actually having a productive conversation. I first want to understand the nature of Alex's claim, because he made a big claim. And now he's saying...
And here's another claim.
Alex, name a name.
Okay, I'll give you another example. I'm not good at specifics.
I want another example. I would like one name that Alex... Okay, Alex, I'll let you go Google it. How about that?
I'll give you another example.
Why don't you go so you can make your point? You're like always, you're making up facts to attack the state of Israel. That is why you are a disgusting human.
I'm trying to connect with reality, Jeff.
You are inventing reality, you dumb fuck.
You failed. Who is Ghassan Kanafani? Who is Ghassan Kanafani?
Okay, here's another example. Look him up yourself.
Wow, guys, hold on 1 second. I wanna, like he said, Ghassan Kanafani. I literally Googled him, no results. Can you tell me who is Qasem Kanafani that was so important that no
Qasem,
Google...
G.H. There was a whole report about him a few years ago.
I don't care. I'm asking who he was, dude. Why can't you? English is not my first language. Who is Qasem Kanafani?
He was a secular. I think he was Christian Palestinian.
You're talking about Qasem Kanafani?
No, he was assassinated by Mossad in 1972. 1972.
Wouldn't it be just easier if he posts a link of the...
No, it's not Qasem. It's Qasem Kanafani. That's not
it's Qasem with a J. Qasem.
Yeah, it's Qasem. Yes, I understand, Alex, but if we don't... Okay, it's not Qasem, it's Qasem. Like we say Azza, and it's spelled with a G. Okay, Gaza, we say Azza, so it's Qasem, Azza, right. And it's not Qasem, it's Qasem with an N, not with an M.
Okay. He was no angel, all right? He was no angel, but he could have been someone that Israel would have been able to negotiate peace with. He was a leader of his people. He was highly regarded. He was an academic. He was a writer. He was an author of books.
Alex, how do you say that straight?
Now, but can I ask you another?
No, I want to ask you a question. How do you say with a straight face he was no angel, but he could have been someone that Israel could have turned into a peacekeeper? How?
And I want to also say that he was friends with George Habash, with a terrorist, and he was a part of the slaughter in the airport in Lod in 1972.
Airport, that's right.
Yes, and it's mind blowing that people like Alex, which I don't know what's wrong with you, Alex. You say you're obviously not a pro-Palestinian, but if you think that the peace person, then Gandhi, is the terrorist, and this is the best you bring us someone from 40, 50 years ago, then this is the problem, Alex. That the only person that you can bring, which you cannot even spell his name, is a fucking terrorist from 50 years ago. This is your fucking Gandhi, Alex?
Gandhi, more like Gandhi, am I right?
He was the first person in a long line of assassinations by Mossad. Because
terrorists.
Okay.
Because
so just a couple of more facts.
That's not true. That's not true. He was not a terrorist.
He was released from prison. He ordered more attacks.
The so-called Gandhi of the Palestine. So he adopted, it looks like, a Marxist-Leninist ideology, which specifically focuses on armed struggle and killing off, the class of people
different translations for their
that is not part of your, target group. And he pushed the group towards revolutionary Palestinian struggle. So he was the very antithesis of Gandhi. Gandhi wouldn't even shed on the same field with this guy. And you're comparing him to Gandhi? I think you need better
I'm not comparing him to Gandhi. I'm talking about him as being the first in a line of assassination.
Alex, we were not talking. Alex, we were not talking about assassinations. We were talking about future for the Palestinians, and then we were talking about why don't they have like a Gandhi, someone that actually. You were talking about peace. We were talking about who is the Palestinian leader that is advocating for peace, and you brought him. So yes, he was assassinated. You know what? Also Nasrallah was assassinated. Boo-hoo. None of them would have bring peace to the Middle East. So Alex, do you have a Gandhi, or all your Gandhis are fucking terrorists?
All right. Let me give you another example. Are you ready? Not
another example.
I love that 15 minutes later, Alex was able to actually Google the books to make his.
Alex, are you giving us an example of what? Because we asked you for a Gandhi, you said Israel killed him. It turns out Israel killed a terrorist. Yes, Israel proudly kills terrorists. So now you're giving us an example of what?
Yeah. And I would reject the idea that these are assassinations anyway, because at least the first example actually claimed responsibility for the Lod massacre. This is a combatant. Israel's been in a war. So, in terms of the political leadership, the Palestinians have had two leaders in my lifetime, and neither of them got it.
No, Ghassan Kanafani never fired a gun. He was purely a rider.
He claimed responsibility for organizing the massacre. You know nothing, self-hating loot.
He was part of the PFLP, and you know what? Nasrallah never held a gun. Israel never held a gun. Who gives a fuck about it?
I know.
Like, I'm not sure what is your claim, Alex, the fact that he never held a gun, so he held a pen. You know, Joseph Goebbels, the fucking Nazi, never held a gun. It doesn't mean anything.
More dangerous than all the guns.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah, well, Israel should learn that lesson.
Okay,
Israel
Alex,
should learn to negotiate. Here's
It always comes back to Israel.
No, Alex, we don't negotiate with terrorists, we negotiate with a bullet into their heads.
Hey, Alex, I've got a question for you. Alex,
now.
hold on, I got a question for you because I'm nearly done on defecating on the day, but to your presence. Alex, you're from Australia, right? Alex, you're in Australia, right? Melbourne?
No. What is that?
You're not in Australia anymore?
No. Are you really Jewish, Alex?
Where do you live now?
Like, what, how do people...
Alex, you've been in Australia until recently then, huh?
So, can I ask the room, when did Hamas come into existence?
No, you can't, Alex. Where do you live?
You know that the first intifada...
Alex, maybe instead of... No, Alex, hold on. Instead of asking questions, make a statement, because all your questions are like bullshit, and I don't know what's wrong with you, and I don't know what happened to you that you became so...
He was probably molested by his father.
A dingo in his face. And I don't know if he ever...
Found him.
I don't know if you're allowed to go to Israel, but for your terror supporting, but if you are allowed to go to Israel, maybe go to Israel for a week, and maybe then it will make you up. I don't want to curse, but maybe it will wake you up.
Want in Australia?
Well, no, listen. I think we went far afield searching for the Palestinian Gandhi, and we found a terrorist that didn't kill anyone personally. My point is, it's about a self-grown movement. And again, there was a good question asked. Why are we at war? Why isn't there peace? And I think the real broader answer is that Israel, the state, the nation state, made up of a nation of people functioning like a state, are dealing with the vestiges of an empire. So these people are predisposed towards a certain style of warfare based upon the culture and community that has developed in the region. They function like a Muslim empire. That's why Iran cares what the Palestinians complain about. And the Palestinians feel trapped because the only methodology they know to express their rights in this particular instance is violent war resulting in their own death. That's all they know how to do, they claim. They can't innovate in the methods of war or statecraft beyond what their empire has instructed them for millennia. Their empire has told them, just go die, more people will die, the empire will survive, which is a methodology. It will be effective if they try it long enough, maybe, and Israel dies. But the thing is, it takes away their independence. They have no agency in directing because they're following a guidebook for an empire where they are a footnote, a necessary footnote that can't just be ignored, but still a footnote. It's not about the Palestinians. It's about the empire. And what I'm saying is the reason there isn't peace is that we haven't found someone that breaks the empire. There is no Gandhi. There's no guy to sit there and say, we are not an empire. We are a separate region called Palestine, and we can function without Iran and Hezbollah and Lebanon and all of the noise beyond the issues they're really dealing with, because they're dying trying to solve their problem in the only way they have been taught to do it. And the only one that can save them is a teacher from their own community that teaches them peace.
I'm really curious about people like Alex and what made them be the person that they are. Oh fuck, there's now a rocket launch at Tel Aviv.
Daniel, have you ever spoken with Amos?
Amos? Which Amos? Our Amos? Like the... Yes, of course.
what makes him? Like, what broke him?
Well, he's a bit different. He's against Hamas and he's not blaming Israel. Like, yes,
He's
he's
super
a left.
Israeli, isn't he?
Yeah, he's super left. He's not he's not self-hating though.
He's just a narcissist.
Broken. His mind.
Yeah, his head doesn't work clear. That's what I'm saying. All of this is just gaslighting, peer pressure. Their friends talk about these things, and they feel uncomfortable.
Amos has no friends.
Defending Israel.
Amos's best friend is Amos. Favorite Israeli.
Yes. Amos is just a giant narcissist.
Hi, everybody. Sorry to change the subject for a minute. Jeff, I'm just, my niece lives in Hollywood and I'm really concerned about the hurricane. Have you heard any news?
I mean, I'm sitting outside. The weather's calm and ugly. It should be fine. It's a big storm, but, well, it's not a big storm, but it'll be a strong storm. But we've got, 150 miles of wind to slow it down before it gets.
Okay, so there's no emergency right now there?
No, right now there's nothing. There's a little drizzle, and it's very boggy and wet.
Yeah, I think the big one's supposed to hit like Wednesday or Thursday morning.
Yeah, it should be about Thursday, I think.
The USA has become a nation. So you understand, the formation of the Marine Corps, of the U.S. forces over in...
Damn, how did they know? How did they know?
Let me know if it was worth the long.
I'm not looking that up, my brother. The answer's no, she's a Zionist.
Are you sure you looked at those pictures
Right. Bro, you know, I took my mum, because she's Muslim, to Al-Aqsa, and I got sexually harassed by at the checkpoint. And then I slept with the soldier the same night.
That's so fucked. That's like the.
He was like a Ashkenazi white Jew with blonde hair. My Arab mind, I got colour.
Such a shame. What do you mean colonize? You're trying to. You love that shit.
No, I do.
Fantasize it. So you didn't look her up?
Dude, I don't have a message from you. What are you talking about?
I sent you the message.
You're gaslighting me. You're like my last girlfriend. Be nice. Did you? Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Sorry, request. My bad. Yale heiress. So she's like a Polish woman, but a fake name.
No, I would say she looks like the regular standard Israeli.
So Polish. Alright.
Look, it looks like an IDF folder. At least when she wears the,
Diego, you on the East Coast or West Coast?
on the West Coast.
Damn.
If you're sending anyone to the East Coast, I already moved, so. You guys know.
Held applause. Then the rabbi asks a further question, the last question, after this very poorly spoken English sheik. When he answered that question, I say 50% of those present gave him a standing ovation on a Shabbat service. So don't tell me there isn't a person. I don't know that he is. You read his biography. I posted it, and I experienced the man.
Can you spell his name, please? Can you spell his name, please?
I put it in the chat.
Is he a leader? I mean, does he have followers?
He's speaking at St. Louis in Toronto.
Hold on. I'm trying to, 1 second, I'm trying to understand something from Shlomo. We are looking for a leader. I mean, people that are like advocating for peace, yes, they are. But if they look behind them, are there other people that are following them?
His name is Abdul Hadi, Hadi, Palazi, Palazz, or ZZ for you people who have ruined the English language. Okay, Palazi. Now, can he fulfill that role? I don't know. It doesn't seem likely because there aren't the ears that are listening.
Shlomo, do you hear me? Shlomo, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you, is he a leader?
does he have a following him? He's a leader
Hold on,
of the Muslim.
Daniel, even before we address that question, Shlomo, he's not even Palestinian.
He's not Palestinian. He's an Islamic leader of the Islamic.
He's not Palestinian. We're talking about Palestinians.
This is part of the problem. Palestinians do not yet fully exist as a separate state entity that we can interact with, but Islam mostly does. And we all know that we're actually like interacting with Islam and the deeply held beliefs of Muslims to follow their special guidebook as a guide to success in the world, because God promised them it'll totally work. That's why they're crying. They're crying because they're doing what God told them, and they literally cannot believe anything. If you really want the Palestinians to grow, get Palestinians to believe that their solution is not in their Quran. That will allow them to develop and grow whatever other system they want. But the fact that they are grounding all of their goals within the Quran, which is an anti-Semitic book, they are condemned to this war until they grow out of their Islam.
He's also a Sufi imam, which means that most Muslims, the vast majority of Muslims, see him as a heretic, in addition to being pro-Israel.
Those guys are weird. They're not.
We have this Musab Abu Yusuf, okay? He's a Palestinian, the son of Hamas, but again, he's very vocal and an advocate, and but he's not a leader by the fact that he has no following. So I can also use him as an example, but you cannot have peace with him because he's not representing anyone. That is the problem. We are talking about leaders. We are talking about like a party within the Palestinian faction that is saying like, no, we want to advocate for peace. We want to have coexistence. We want to recognize Israel. We want to have This is what we're lacking, not individual people.
Daniel, did you see an update on the missile from Yemen?
On the missiles from Yemen or on Yemen?
From Yemen. There was one missile came in from Yemen to like the whole western central, like Sharm el-Sheikh and Tel Aviv.
Now? Yeah.
Did they give the all clear yet?
I think usually it's like 10 minutes. Because
I got it like 7 minutes ago. Yeah, 7 minutes.
No, they should be stay in the. Basically, now they canceled the airport taking off and taking like how do you call it? Take off and landing. And it's a ground-to-ground rocket that was sent from Yemen. Yeah. I don't understand this. I mean, do they not need an airport, or like what's going on in Yemen? I guess they don't need an airport.
What do they care? They're not the Yemen government. They're not responsible for the civilians. They don't care.
And also, you know who doesn't care? All those pro-Palis in the audience. They don't care how many Yemenites will now die or will starve. I mean, they didn't care for a year. As long as they're sending rockets, they're happy. They don't care. They will care once Israel retaliates, and then they will call it a war crime, obviously. And Human Rights Watch will post like a tweet like, "Oh, Israel has committed a war crime."
Israel's been ignoring Yemen. Like Israel's been following their dictate of one fight at a time, and right now they're focused on Hezbollah. But they have not seriously dealt with Yemen yet.
Well, we did take down yes, we owe them now
strike against the port.
Yeah, okay. We owe them 2 strikes, and we owe the Islamic Republic of Iran 1. So we are writing it down.
Right. But that's like the mentality of imperial reasoning, right? The deaths which occur as a result of the imperial direction are understandable, acceptable, because the empire must exist. So obviously, deaths in Yemen are acceptable, deaths in Syria are acceptable, deaths in Lebanon, but Israeli-caused deaths are not acceptable because that's an affront to the empire. That's why it's terrifying. It means that the empire isn't really strong, which, by the way, Britain off the world 100 years ago when it crumbled. But hey, hard to keep in.
A lot of the pro-Palis are not Muslim. They are just like useful idiots that are like supporting it, and they don't really care about it.
They don't know their history. They don't know that they're supporting an empire.
There are white women who are super woke in the U.S. and are taking offense on behalf of everyone else. They don't understand.
This is why you need to teach world history in schools. You just need to know what the hell happened.
That's right. But you guys in the U.S. don't even know. I mean, like, look at even at the reading rates. Like, people graduate from school and they don't even know. They don't even know how.
America doesn't even have the geographic knowledge necessary to understand the history of the world. We are, by design, mountaintop, on top of the planet, avoiding all the craziness of the old world we left behind.
Listen, it's very U.S.-centric, and I get it, but you are, and I'm not saying you guys here in the room, because you're far from ignorant, but I see with the new generations, when you talk to them, it's like they really have no knowledge of anything.
Well, because here's the thing. That's always been the case. The young have never understood as well as the old. But they haven't always been as loud. They have TikTok. They are, in some ways, a stronger, more clear voice than the wise elderly that publish their articles and papers for the scholars to study.
Which are dumb voices.
They're dumb voices, but they're louder now. That's what Hitler taught us with the microphone.
Yeah. So how do you fix that? I mean, there is no way of fixing that unless, in my opinion, you liberate the schools from the government, and they start competing with each other, and then parents have the right to choose to what schools they send their children.
Okay, but here's the thing. The children of today, the dumb ones with the loud voice, their voice will continue to be that loud. And they will get wiser, as is the lifespan of all the humans. Then they will have some context for what they've been discussing in their youth with like weird records of what they used to say. I don't know what effect that'll have on the adult population when they mature. I don't know what kinds of papers we'll see in the future.
You know, I didn't hear that question, but I have another solution. Anyone who advocates killing Jews and destroying Israel, we should kill them in their entirety.
That's the way the
Sounds
mafia
a
dealt
little
with
bit
it.
drastic, but understandable.
See how they like.
I would vote for that.
Never disregard the sovereignty of the mafia, which has existed longer than several states.
Yeah, I'd say that needs to be the solution for at least the next year. And then maybe they'll be a little bit more open to not calling for the death of Jews and advocating for the.
One time I told Daniel about this saying that I found, that it was, let me see if I find it, but it was something along the lines of, if you ever need to attack an enemy, make sure that you attack so strong that the enemy, that you don't fear any revenge from your enemy.
Right.
And that goes along those lines, right? Like, hold on ish. And so Daniel was like, no, but I guess that he took it like from the other side and imagined like Israel, whatever. But in the case of Israel, like, that's the only thing I really criticize at this point.
That they never go far
That
enough.
they have
Right.
not been strong enough in the sense of saying, this is it, fuck you all, we're not going to go for a draw, there will be a clear winner here, and it's going to be us.
Right. I'll tell you, Issa, part of the problem with Israel's warfare technique is what you're describing, limited warfare. And the concept was pioneered literally at Israel's formation. Because of the development of the atomic bomb, people were terrified of the idea of total warfare. Because the horrors in Nagasaki and Hiroshima were too much for them to deal with as it grew over time. So they started reducing the way they engaged in warfare, engaged in this limited warfare, a tit-for-tat back and forth, which you're pointing out, many of the generals, I think it was MacArthur, was like firmly opposed. He said this is a crazy tactic. You will only enrage your enemy and give them time to regroup. He said limited warfare makes no sense. If you decide to go to war, just end it. That was his approach. The quickest, most bloody conclusion to a war is often the peaceful result.
Can I contribute my historical opinion to that, please?
You can, but you need to get closer to your microphone-ish.
Many of the rocket from Yemen has been intercepted successfully.
No kidding.
The problem in the era of limited warfare is how to have the deterrent effect.
Because we can't hear you,
war
Ish.
action. What was this time?
Ish is
No,
trying to
Ish
speak,
was-
but we can't hear him.
Oh, Ish?
Say that it's a bad thing.
Can y'all tell me when my mic gets back?
We can't.
Dude, your
can't hear
microphone
you.
is horrible.
Yeah,
Just
it's
disconnect. Hold on. It seems like it's not ish. It seems like it's not connecting the microphone to your phone because we can hear the surroundings but not your voice. Can you disconnect it and speak directly into the phone?
So, since military technique is based on how much firepower armies have in reserve, how much damage they can do and how much they're restraining themselves, right? That's the deterrent. They could destroy you, but you need a proof of concept that this guy would actually go crazy, like America. Right? America has a track record of going crazy when it gets pushed against the ropes. That is the deterrent effect. The fact that they continue to have the ability to fire nuclear weapons is the deterrent. Israel has never actually done anything major. It's something that has made everyone said, you know what, we just can't fuck with them. Anyone that walks over there is persona non grata. And Israel doesn't have that as their reputation.
And they need to
And they
have
kind of
that
don't
because
want it
they
as part of
are
their
in
reputation.
a very vulnerable region and in a very vulnerable situation, being in the middle of all
They're
these
not willing
people
to
that
kill
want
the
to kill
amount
them.
of people necessary to make that kind of a demonstration.
He said, baby, you a big booty Latina, but you disappoint me so much with this rhetoric. Like, it's so
Mine still sucks. Please get a new mic.
If you want to say something, but don't abuse your time.
Alright, bro, I'm not trying to use my time, but put it like this, bro. You guys are trying to mainstream when it is okay to just say fuck everybody, bro. The women, the children, the babies, just fuck them all, burn them alive, bro. That's the conversation you're trying to make.
Yeah, so
I don't know where
standing.
I don't know what room you were in. None of those words were uttered in this room in the last few hours that I'm here. So maybe unplug whatever you're listening to and try to listen to us instead of. No. You're projecting and you're strawmanning. You're basically saying something that we never said in order for you to argue with something that we never said.
You said this. I'm not saying you said this anyway, bro. I'm saying that this is in effect what is happening by way of mixing.
No, again, that is literally a straw man when you are. No, because if you're gonna sweetie, listen, honey, you can speak. You can sweetie, you can speak, but don't straw man, okay?
Alright, bro, but don't sweetie me, bro, and don't play with me like that.
Okay, honey, I will not sweetie
Well,
you.
you're babying me. He can sweetie you.
Exactly.
Alright, whatever. I can baby you all day. But this
What was the point you're trying to make again? What was the point you're trying to make again?
Maybe if you shut up,
All right, darling.
Sign.
Yeah, maybe if you get to the fucking point.
So yeah, makes sense, right?
Yes.
I mean, what's wrong with your fucking microphone? Can you go steal a better one?
Oh, honey, he's so pained. He's so pained.
You know, I think like Israel.
Your room in this room, everybody calls Ish sweetie or honey.
Okay, that's fair.
Or babe. Baby's also cool.
Or yell at.
I think the 1967 war was supposed to be that big demonstration that Israel could hold its own, but their enemy didn't react in the way that an enemy normally does. In that, like Egypt did, Egypt backed down, right? Or well, then 1973. But what I'm saying is that attack 1967 was a quick demonstration of show of force. It didn't have the deterrent effect to illustrate that Israel, pushed against the ropes, would be a dangerous opponent. They still don't believe that Israel is a dangerous opponent. Or at least they continue to tell themselves that.
Yeah, the numbers definitely show that.
Because they believe that the empire is larger, right? The movement of Muslims that want this caliphate or whatever, that's way stronger, and that want the Jews out of the Holy Land because that's an affront to their God, that's way stronger. So Israel doesn't feel strong against such a religious, powerful movement.
Alright, so can I say something after you, Mixed, or is that...
Right words! Thank you, Eesh! Yes, please, I will...
Alright, thank you so much. So Mixed, bro, this is my problem with your argument, bro. Because look, Look, if it was Haitians, bro, I would be saying kill all the fucking white people. That's what I would be saying, bro. Let's put it like that, bro. So yes, I admit that there's a double standard, bro, but that's why we need outsiders, bro, to step in and tell us, bro, yeah, you kind of bugging right there. You know what I'm saying? Because look,
No,
bro.
I totally agree with you. When Haiti was forming its own identity, 100% kill all the white folk. But then, you're right, it grows into step it down, how do we trade with the white folk, you see?
Exactly, bro. So you right now, bro, this shit that you saying, bro, it's bordering on, look, okay, we got a problem. You know, civilians are gonna die. But just ever-present state of civilian death. Even if we're hitting Hamas targets, let it just be civilian death after civilian death after civilian death. Matter of fact, how about we just obliterate the whole fucking area? You know what? Just
No one said that, Ish.
rid it of civilians. It's too painful for us to be miscalculated.
I mean,
Jeff,
I'll
Jeff,
be
that's basically
I'll
what's
be
being
very
said, Jeff. Come
specific
on,
because
Jeff.
I said the thing that's closest to what you're saying. What I said was anyone who advocates for the death of Jews, the murder of Jews, and the destruction of Israel needs to die. And their family can die too. But that's in no way the wholesale destruction of a people, of an area, of an anything. It's just simply responding to folks that explicitly want to murder us.
Okay, so
They
if I
get to
can
die.
Yo, Jeff, I respect you, bro, but you're just sanitizing your shit, bro. If it was me and Haitians, I'd have been like,
No, I'm not, Ish.
fucking white people.
I'm not.
Jeff, you're sanitizing your shit.
More
he said he was
importantly,
going to kill the whole family.
more importantly, Ish, the Hamas has already come out and said that 80% of those killed were either Hamas or their families. Not only am I not sanitizing it, the state of Israel is actually putting it into effect. So, with no respect, you are starting to start shit on something that doesn't exist, on something we didn't say, and your only defense is, but you meant it. So go fuck off.
Right. We have not been asking for the wholesale destruction of Gaza. Excellent point. We're not trying to kill all the Palestinians, even when I'm saying that the rhetoric, the thing that deters war, is some giant cataclysmic action of don't fuck with us that the world takes note of. What we're really saying, and what Israel's really doing in their limited warfare, because what they're actually doing is they are attempting to maintain the democratic, cultural, ethnic people of Palestine and surgically remove the empirical tumors that continue to pop up because they've been sick for several centuries. They don't know how to function on their own. They keep relying on this holy book to save them, and it's getting them killed. It's a tumor. And Israel is surgically destroying all of it as much as it can. And like a good doctor, they're looking for complete destruction of everybody
I hate this language. So, what would you think that they would do if the Palestinians got it their way and they managed to get Israel out of there and they take possession of Israel? What do you think will happen to Israel?
Return to Gaza.
So let's say that the Palestinians have it their way.
Okay,
they have their, a genie comes out of a bottle and it says, okay, I'm here to give you one wish. And they're like, yeah, we want Israel to cease to exist and we don't want any Jew in Israel land.
Right, they get shipped out.
And the genie says, okay, there you go, no Jews anymore. What do you think?
The Jews wouldn't go without a fight. The Jews would fight to the death.
They would come from
no.
the world.
What
yeah,
do you
they
think
probably
there
would.
is? Oh my God,
The rest of the world.
Xand and Cherry. There is no Jew in Israel. What do you think the Palestinians will do with that land? Do you think that they will make it better?
They will turn into a military base for the rest of the world. That's what
I think they'll turn to shit.
They'll just split it between Egypt and Syria.
Yeah. Maybe Jordan gets some.
I think it'll become a 7th century country. They will not be able to actually manage it. I think that.
But I want to be very clear. The only way you're getting rid of all of the Jews in Israel is out of all of their cold dead fingers. These people were all trained in the military and they lived there. They were born there. They will fight to the death to stay there.
Oh yeah, of course. I wouldn't expect less.
Exactly. Which is why it's irrelevant to talk about the destruction of the state. What do you mean destroy the state? You mean the people that are armed and ready to defend their homeland? Yeah, go ahead. Good luck. Best shot.
So, hi.
Oh my God.
I don't think that, and this was a question that I asked in another room, and I asked them what they wanted. and, in terms of what it is that they would demand, okay, of Israel, if they could negotiate. And I asked them because from where I'm sitting, this looks like a landlord-tenant dispute, and they were very insulted that they were referred to as tenants.
It was very fun to listen to, Chair.
What?
It was very fun to see you attacked in the Palestinian space. That was fun.
Oh yeah, no, it was hysterical. But here's the thing, they didn't have an answer, and I think the question that you're asking, Isa, is if they were capable of building a society and a productive and progressive country, they would never get into these wars, and they would never commit the atrocities of October 7th last year, because they have something to lose. They have nothing to lose in the way that they look at it. And when you see the pictures and the bombings of that area, and you're like, what did you people do since they gave you back your they left the settlements? What have you done since then? Like, where is your progress report? And this is the thing that you don't see. In Iran, we have the same thing. All of the infrastructure that's in Iran, all the infrastructure, all the dams, all the water, that was all from the Shah's era. That was all built in the 15 years that we had a monarch. That's it. They have a bunch of high rises in Tehran. Okay, they drive the crappiest cars on earth. All of their kids live outside of the country, just like all of these oligarchs. Even the Palestinian, the heads of the Palestinians, they live in Qatar. All their kids are in London and the US and UK and Canada and so forth. It's like, if the people that are protesting and that are, hanging themselves because of the children dying and of the people being genocided, apparently, they should look at who the populace is. Where are those people that are essentially the heirs, right, to this regimes that have been constructed? Where are they? Like, you don't see any of them. And so what they don't understand is that these societies are built, right, from a top down, and they're oligarchs that completely benefit and enrich themselves, and then they leave the peasants where they are. They give them some Hamas to go take care of them. It's like the criminal babysitter, which is what they are, and they're like, okay, well, do your thing, So they're not countries. They're failed nation states, every damn one of them. But you never hear about them talking about that. That what are we going to do? Like, what is our plan? Like, let me see how you're going to build this new city that you're talking about. Why haven't they achieved that? Why aren't they rising up against the people that put them in these positions? Meaning the oligarchs that are sitting in Qatar,
Because they're barbarians and they don't care about progress. They venerate death. Not prosperity.
That is true.
Can someone else speak? Or Issa, are you just going to continue to gaslight?
It's not Issa, actually. It's Cherry.
No, it's Issa and you, Cherry. You're just...
I'm just what?
Why do you complain so much, Ish? For once, women are talking to you, so you should take advantage
Ish,
of
the
it.
sound's coming out of your neck. We don't want to hear it.
Yeah, maybe take the day off, Ish. I understand that you are, I don't know what's go wrong with you. Maybe take the day off.
Hi, Daniel. How are you, my friend?
Oh, sorry.
Hey, sorry.
Hi, honey.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi, sweetie.
Daniel, 4 days ago, we were speaking on this app. I asked you a question, and you said no. I just wonder, were you wrong at that time, or you didn't have information? Do you remember that I asked you if any of air bases in it, and you said none, but evidence shows that the airbase actually been targeted.
What was the question?
I will remind. Okay, so
So
he
I'll put the
came,
link.
Soren said, yeah, I put the link.
I
So
just
Soren
did.
came
I just
here
did.
like, Soren, relax, shut the fuck up when others speak. My God, you just asked the question. You want to hear an answer? You need to know how to. You have to ask the question.
All right.
So he asked. So there was the attack, the Iranian, the Islamic Republic attack. Okay, and immediately they said that 80% of their missiles hit the bases. And I told them, like, no, we don't have any information on bases. And I also said that if there will be, we will say it, and you cannot hide this. And he's like, no, the Zionist regime is hiding it, yada, yada, yada. Later, of course, like I think a day later, the Zionist regime, aka Israel, not only said which bases were attacked, they also published pictures of the hits on the bases. So when we say stuff, it's after it's confirmed and after we have evidence. At that point, immediately after the attack, it was just propaganda. And what I said, I still stand behind it. We are not like the Islamic Republic of... please read up. I didn't finish, please.
Okay.
We are not the Islamic Republic that we... It's not a victim. I'm actually victimizing you. We're not like the Islamic Republic that we just like bullshit and people are saying yes, yes, amen, amen, amen. We actually are honest, and if something happens, we publish it. And the fact that Soren, I don't even know what link you put, but I would assume that the source comes from Israel, right? Thank you very much.
Okay, so fair enough. Okay, there are a bunch of liars, and you're known worldwide as honest, modest people. Okay, I'll give you that. So, forget about what we conversation about. Let's get to the actual point. As you know, Daniel, as you survived EF, you know that you have multi-layer of air defense system. Iron Dome, you've got David Sling, and then you've got Arrow System 1 and 2 and 3. Correct? And I believe that you might have even more. Even more. Well, these are the known ones. So the real question that I have, like yesterday or the day before yesterday, Haifa was targeted with 5 bomb. None of them's been intercepted. The alarm, the siren did not even activate it in Haifa. And by that was 5 missiles from, I think, Hezbollah. On top of that, all of these ballistic missiles also, you say 10%, say 5%, Iran says 90%, doesn't matter. But it's been factually proven that they managed to penetrate the air defense system of Israel, and they couldn't intercept that. And in one report says they actually hit the air defense system itself. So the question is, all of this air defense system, it seems that it's not about overwhelming it. It seems that if you use the right missiles, maybe, I don't know.
Is there a question there? Okay. Hold on. Andrew, I didn't hear the question there. It was a statement.
No, that question was, I was trying to be like a smart ass, like some of these people that frame and lawyer.
I know, we know you.
What
is the question?
And I'm pretty sure you don't do these kind of questions. But
what is the question?
The question is that why do you think...
Andrew, shut up, please.
Isn't it like a waste of American taxpayers to give you guys when the air defense system is obsolete?
Yes, I want to answer.
Okay, so I will try to answer you.
Do you recognize
hold on. So no air defense, and no one ever claimed that air defense is 100% protection. This is why, on top of the air defense, we also have procedures. For example, for people to go into shelters. Okay, no one ever said or ever claimed that Israel has a 100% defense system. No, it's not a waste of time or money.
So I want to give a different answer. Yes, it's a waste of the American taxpayer. As an American taxpayer, I want Israel to go and destroy the launchers, destroy the people that are launching, assassinate all of the leadership, and not rely on air defense. Go into IRGC, take them out, take out the Houthis, all of them, because air defense doesn't work, as told to us by the agent of the IRGC.
Hold on a second, guys. I need to ask a housekeeping question. Are we really going to spend time dealing with the same fucking idiots that we argue with every day on October 7th? Like, I'm all for letting new people come up and show that they're ignorant fucktards who hate us and want to kill us, but why are we going to waste another minute on Soren or Ish or any of these usual characters?
Well, I'd say maybe just so that Soren knows that he's not here to talk. He's here to maybe think about what this day is.
No, I agree. It's a waste of time. And by the way, I was agreeing with that.
But Mayor is right. If we didn't have the air defense system, if we didn't have I don't think people understand that the fact that we have Iron Dome, it's what kept Gaza safe. Because if we hadn't had the Iron Dome, oh my God, we would have gone into Gaza decades ago.
Nuclear.
I wouldn't say nuclear, but we go like hard. The only reason that Israel, hold on, please. The only reason that Israel can sustain all those attacks without retaliating is because of our defense system, which may be like something that we normalize. The fact that we can handle Hezbollah for a year is, if we didn't have air defense system, yes, we would flatten southern Lebanon like a year ago. And that is what people miss. That yes, you want to advocate for no Iron Dome for Israel? Great, but it will kill Gazans.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Well, if you really want to fold that knot upside down, had we gone into Gaza Gaza a decade ago or 2 decades ago, far more people, less people would have died overall, and this whole situation would have been resolved 10 years ago. So it's like you got it every way.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's my
we kind of, in a way, normalize it. I mean, the fact that the world media don't report even when rockets hit Israel or when there are terror attacks in Israel, because we kind of learn to live with it. That is maybe part of the problem that we caused, that we normalized it. You know, the fact that people don't even know about it, it doesn't even, like, it's not breaking news when there's like a fucking rocket that is hitting like a city center. Hey, Shelby.
Hi, I'm here to say condolences for 7 October and wish for your hostages and your North people to go get back home sooner. Justice.
Thank you, Sylvain. It's North and South. People in the South also didn't go back to their houses yet.
Oh, I didn't know.
And all the people that are in the communities around Gaza, what we call the Gaza envelope, yeah, many of them didn't come back yet.
Yeah. If you care, the kisses, the mullahs, as kisser are taking, are so happy for Israel's delay, for the answer of the wanted to attack, and others think Bibi is cooking, you know? What's your response for it?
I'm not sure that I understood the question.
Are you French?
No, I'm from Iran.
No, you know, every single person that comes from Iran to the stage, like they all show a lot of sympathy, you know, towards Israel, and they are actually hoping for a change of regime in their country. I'm really amazed. Like I never thought of this, and I didn't know that the people of Iran are so much against the regime.
Well, I think they feel guilty, but they don't feel responsibility, because most of them themselves are not necessarily IRGC officers, so they're all allowed to feel guilty, but feeling guilty is not a crime in Iran.
Listen, Andrew, I can't with you.
No, it's because of your
I don't feel
of
guilty.
IRGC
I
too,
feel.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting arthritis.
We're actually.
Yeah.
We feel a solidarity because we feel a solidarity with Israelis because they're being pummeled by the same forces and the same mindset and worldview that we are. This is Islam we're fighting against. We have the same problem. Yours is a foreign entity. Ours is right on top of us. So we're fighting with our own government that's out of its mind and that is an Islamic extremist. That's the difference between us. I go into these rooms that are Palestinian and they go, you're a Jew, you must be a Jew. Funny, I'm not a Jew. I don't actually mind being a Jew. That conversion is definitely on the table after all this. But and I actually would be proud to be a Jew, to be perfectly frank with you. The ideas that they subscribe to, the way they look at the world, their hope for the future, it's like an ideology and a religion of light and life and bringing good fortune and bringing good things to yourself. I don't know what else Islam can offer people, but when I go into rooms, they call me Shiksa, they call me all kinds of names that I don't understand, but it doesn't matter because the fact is that this person that's calling from Iran, I don't know him, but we feel this way. We feel an absolute solidarity because we know what it's like to be attacked by something you don't understand and you don't want. So that's how I feel personally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Islam. It is Islam. And it kills everything in its path. And we want to tell Israel, please don't beat Iran. Please don't let them win. Please one of them, not like the way we did, and we could never get out from under them for 47 years. You see us? We should be example. We should have fought more, but we didn't. We didn't know. It was another time and another world. The Shah of Iran, one time in an interview with Mike Wallace, and I don't know if you ever see these old interviews, he said at that time, 1974, 1975, he said Yasser Arafat was a madman. He's crazy, he said. He's crazy. The Shah of Iran knew. So this is not, we always knew in Iran, this PLO and everything. So we need, I was talking to my friend, we need that, the son of the Hamas, the Mossad, we need one from the IRGC like this to go to all the shows and all the medias and talk about turning against the IRGC. We need somebody like that for us. That son of Hamas who goes on these shows and goes on Piers Morgan, he's phenomenal. I've heard him. He's incredible the way he speaks. He's very articulate. His UN speech absolutely shut the place down. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a very famous UN talk that he gave in 2017. 2017, he sat there and he absolutely laid it on the table as to what Hamas is and how they are brutalizing the Palestinian people, and they're not representative of the Palestinians at all. So.
Yeah, we need Mossad and we need Mossad.
As far as putting stuff on the table, you know, what I was impressed with is, because I was watching it before the thing happened, and you'll know what the thing is in a second, is when Netanyahu was at the UN, he drew a whole map of the Middle East and to the UN people. The UN is the one that bullies Israel most on the diplomatic stage, obviously. But they said, you know what, you guys, we have some friends in this region. He pointed from east to west. India was one of them, then it was Saudi, then it was Dubai, then it was Egypt. At least he said, you know, guys, this is our blessing. Then he said, you know what, guys, here's also our curse. And then it started from east to west. It says Iran. Then further east, Iraq. Then further west, then Syria. Then further west, Lebanon. And then almost 2 minutes later, 2 or 3 minutes later, boom, Nasrallah is dead. That is literally what it means to leave something on the table. And now people still don't get it. Am Israel Chai. Long live Israel.
So where were you guys when Thorstein happened?
I was in Washington, D.C., and I was traumatized. I can talk more, but I don't want to.
Okay, well, this is not about you, honey. I'm sorry.
I said everyone.
I was on Clubhouse.
Go to the TV for like almost like 7 days.
Happy anniversary, guys. Happy
Okay, Johnny, everybody say goodbye to Johnny.
Goodbye.
I was in shul. Didn't hear. So it was a 2-day holiday in Chutz La'aretz. Shmini Atzeres was ending and Simchas Torah was starting. But my sister-in-law was here, and she is Israeli, so she doesn't come the second day. Say what?
So she normally lives in Israel?
Yes, she normally lives in Israel.
So she was visiting.
She was visiting, which means that there are special Jewish rules that apply. She doesn't have to keep the second day. Only I do. Which means that she was on her phone.
What do you refer to by second day? Sorry.
The second day of a holiday in which I would not be using any electronic devices. So I wasn't checking the news. I wasn't on the phone. I was at home. Everyone in my community was just kind of at shul, a bit like normal.
This is the least clear explanation. I got it.
Say what?
This is like the least clear explanation.
All right, you explain it. Go ahead.
Okay, the holiday, which is like a blackout, like, you know, Saturday, in Torah law is one thing. But based on ancient ways of when the new moon was and time, it's been added that in the diaspora we keep 2 days. Anyone that regularly resides in the diaspora keeps 2 days. Anyone that regularly resides in Israel will keep 1 day. So that's here in the diaspora. I was also on a 2-day holiday, and we just heard the news like through people like a lady, like a non-Jewish lady who like does work nearby, told people Like, we didn't get like real news for like a full 30 hours later.
What holiday was that?
It's the final day of the holiday called Sukkot. So this whole season is a season. So we just went through New Year. This year it's 3 days because it's not really 3 days, but it goes straight into Shabbos, or straight into Saturday. And then the following Saturday is Yom Kippur, which is a fast day, which was the Yom Kippur War. That year was October 6th.
Which was the 50th anniversary, yeah, I remember that.
Right. Because the lunar calendar, solar calendar don't match, so it slides like a week or two each direction. So this year, where October 7th is now, last year October 7th was the final day of the holiday, which is in like 2 weeks from now. So then, 3 weeks. So,
it was Simchat Torah.
It was Simchat Torah בארץ ישראל, לא בחוץ לארץ. I know it's Shmini Atzeres.
Right. Oh my God, that's back.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So the final day of the holiday, the very last day. So in the diaspora, it's 1 day later. In Israel, it's the day before. It's a rabbinic tradition, but it's a universal tradition that you celebrate completing reading of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Torah. So we finished reading all 5 books. We read it every week in synagogue. That's what you talk about. We discuss it and read it. So it gets completed on that day, and it's a celebration. The singing, dancing, some drinking. It's a very happy celebration that we completed another cycle of Torah reading. And that was the day that they chose. Yeah. Well, Torah has multiple meanings. In this meaning, it means the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis to Deuteronomy.
Okay, so you were your sister-in-law was over.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like Meir's explaining, outside of Israel, there are 2 holidays: Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres. In Israel, it's mostly just Simchas Torah, which is such a great holiday that it's more important than Shmini Atzeres. But because of that, there was a divide in the understanding of the American Jewish community, or really all the religious Jews outside of Israel, hearing news about it. Many didn't hear any news until after Simchas Torah, so that would be like a full day after the attacks. And at that point, they were in the middle of a hellstorm, and they were bombarded with pictures that they didn't even know about because they were in the middle of a holiday. I was a little bit different in that I had an inkling because of my sister-in-law that was here. Since she is Israeli, she didn't keep the second day, and she was checking her phone. And she was saying that there was some kind of a very big attack, and my first response was, I'll hear about it after the holiday.
I heard from someone who's like an exaggerator. Like, these guys, he's always talking politics. And I did not believe him. I was like, okay, there was an attack. The Gaza envelope was attacked. But the magnitude that he's talking about, and he said 300 people were found dead. And I didn't believe it. I said this, something definitely big happened, but not to this level.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I got this.
Whispers, it's true. People had sense that something had happened, but it felt like another kind of brush up like we've seen before, of like rockets. Maybe someone got injured. Like, we didn't know, but we didn't expect, and we were in the middle of a holiday, so we kind of pushed it aside and waited until we could check the news.
What about you, Daniel?
I was basically I got like the alarms on my phone, and then I immediately opened the TV.
Were you keeping the holiday as well, or not?
No. And when I got the alarms on my phone, I opened TV, and no one kind of started to catch enough. But the picture took hours to form, because even when they were reporting it, even the reporters were not sure of what they're reporting. Like, they said, okay, there are reports of like terrorists in a Toyota van in Sderot, and they're like, but those are like, they didn't believe that they like reported it, but they were like also putting it on very much like, we're still checking it, we're not sure, because it seemed like out of the world. And when they were talking about dead, yes, they were talking about 200 dead and then 300 dead. I remember the entire day, there was like this banner at the bottom of the screen, and it kept on growing and growing. It started with like 100 dead, 200 dead, and 300 dead, and 400 dead, and 500 dead, 600 dead. It kept on growing as time went by, and then more and more videos. I think at some point we started getting videos from Hamas themselves There was a time that they actually reported, I don't remember which of the kibbutz, that they brought reporters to the kibbutz. They reported from the kibbutz. And then when we saw it coming from the Hamas side with videos, we the picture kind of became clearer. But I for 7 days, I was basically almost, maybe I even slept in the living room. I was just like glued to the TV like 24/7 for like a week before I even stepped outside of the house.
Were all your family like outside of the risk area?
Yeah, my family is in Tel Aviv, yes. But then I heard of like friends that, had friends that went to this party, like as time progressed, like also this party, no one knew about it at the beginning. Started with like a report. The thing is that everything collapsed in Israel because when they started the attack, they attacked the eyes and ears of the army. So the reports kind of started forming very late. So a lot of people couldn't. Like they called the police station, but no one was answering them because there were like thousands of calls. So they started calling the TV station and they put them on the air, and people were like saying, like someone was like whispering, like, I'm in my house, I hear them knocking on the door, they're trying to go in. And then another girl said they kidnapped my father, and the broadcast like, why are you saying this? He said, because I saw a video from the Telegram of Hamas of him in Gaza. And like they couldn't even we had this trauma growing up of one navigator that was taken hostage, and then in the last years we had Gilad Shalit, one person. So the understanding of what a hostage means is very profound. And as the day progressed, we understood it wasn't just like her father that was taken to Gaza, but dozens and then hundreds of people that were taken into Gaza. Because when it started, when it started with rockets, it's not so uncommon, okay?
Yeah,
for instance, it
like,
happens.
okay, it's just another day.
Oh my God, they started again, okay, we launched a shelter, yada, yada, yada. It takes a while until you understand the magnitude of this thing. I remember I was in New York in 9/11, and I was riding the bus, the train, and one of the guys was like, and I saw before I left the house there was a plane that hit the World Trade Center before I left work. And then on the train, someone said they took down the World Trade Center. And kind of like Caleb or maybe Mel, I thought like, a crazy person exaggerating, like, oh my God, like people are crazy. They would say all kinds of nonsense things. Because it was really like unbelievable, like the videos that we saw, and it kept on coming for days, and it just didn't end. And to be honest, a year later, it still didn't end. Like, in Judaism, we have like this. We talked about it the other day of this 1 week of mourning, and then what we do in 1 month and one year. So there's like this concept of 1 year of mourning. So we are in this 1 year of mourning as a nation, but the thing is that it didn't really end. Like, people are still like dying, people are still hostages, people are still being killed every day. So we are still basically in mourning. It's more than a year, and the images are still coming.
That is horrible. And what was your reaction like? Did you immediately pick up the phone, call your parents, or?
Yes, I spoke to all my family. But I was mostly like I was like speechless. I was just glued to the information. And being far away was even harder for me. But for the first week, I did nothing. I didn't work. I didn't go out. I hardly ate. I was just like consuming.
Did you have any direct contact with IDF pals that they were feeding you information, or I don't know, were they responsive?
No, the entire everything in Israel that is like, we have like a lot of investigation to do of everything up to 7th of October, let's say up till 6th of October, and from 7th of October at 6:30, because once this thing started, like everything collapsed. This is why the void of many like governmental bodies were filled with individuals, from rescuing people to driving soldiers, like nothing worked. So everything became like organized by civilians. Like the entire country was taken over by civilian bodies that were created on that day and started taking care of everything, from the refugees to even saving people. Like this party there were people that were hiding in different places that ran away from the party, and there were like people that were going in and taking them out. Like basically there was like, okay, tell me what you see. I see a bridge and I see this. Okay, I know where you are. Hide, I'm coming to rescue you. And those are all individual people. And many others just kind of put on uniform that they have and went north, like without being called or without being part of any unit. They just kind of picked up whatever they had and they went. Sometimes they picked up a gun on the way or they got from someone, and they just kind of formed like makeshift units into battle things. Like no one was really prepared. But many people, I think the oldest person is like 86, that basically is still doing reserves. That is actually still doing reserves. Like he's officially is not in reserves, but he put on uniform and he went and did whatever he did.
Showed up. Yeah.
Yes, and many others. Like there was this story about this guy that Bibi brought to the UN that just kind of picked up his bag and started running 12 kilometers in order to reach like the Gaza envelope, because there was no buses and roads were closed and yada yada. It was also on Shabbat, and Shabbat we don't have public transportation, so people had to kind of either take everything. Basically everything was done by civilians. Everything.
Let's go in PTR order, because I'm curious where you guys were. Yoav, where were you that day?
Yeah, I was at home, and my car was parked.
You live in Israel, right?
Yeah, in Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv?
And Daniel, on the 7th of October, it was 6 o'clock, the missile, right?
Right.
6:29, yes.
And one missile landed in the garden beside my house, and it shattered my car windows.
Really?
Yeah. And then
where do you live in Tel Aviv?
In the Old North.
Okay. Oh wow, very close to where are you?
Yeah. Cool. Neighbors. So just as Daniel said, the news kept dripping in, and we got to understand the magnitude of the event bit by bit along the day, and at the end of the day it was clear that something horrible and terrible has happened.
So were you a little bit blinded during the whole day of the 7th of October, and it was only you gained clarity at the end of the day?
Yeah, at the end of the day we understood, and the day after we understood what's really going on, what really went down. And yeah, it was horrible. Nothing else to say about it except 1 year later, and it's still horrible.
Did you have any friends living or family living close to the risk areas?
No. I didn't, thank God. But, well, we know Jake from the app, who was killed that day at Nova, and Shlomi was taken. But no, I don't know any personal people.
There's a project of Channel 12 that they did now for 1 year of like minute by minute the reports from 6:29 when it started with the alarms, basically all the notifications and all the announcements that came on that day, like basically broken down minute by minute what happened. So it started basically by just this alarms, and there was the one video of the gliders coming into gliding into the Gaza envelope. And we started getting information about rockets landing and people that are hurt. This is how it started. But they did a nice project that really you can see minute by minute how the kind of information came, and yeah.
Guys, my name is Darvish. Can I say something to you guys? With all the respect to you.
Sure, of course. Welcome.
Of course, and then we can go with Meyer and Rolly.
Do you know, guys, Iranian people will never forget the tragedy that happened to you guys. I'm just in this room to sympathize with all of you and all the Jewish people. The people of the Iran have always been, will be by your side. Iranian people, really, the pride to be with you. God bless you and God bless your country. And really, we pride we have a friends like you guys. We love you.
Thank you, and God bless the Iranian people.
Hey, Isa. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Rolly, we've missed you. We're sharing where everyone was in October 7, if you guys remember. Meyer, did you want to share, and then Rolly?
Yeah, I told you a little bit already. So it was, by the time I heard, it was.
What did he
I was in the Mamad.
So by the time I heard, it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night, maybe, which is 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, like 4 in the morning, like almost 24 hours later. So Israel already had a lot of information, but we were still getting like pieces of information because it was all secondhand. So like I thought I heard someone say it, I thought he way exaggerated. He said there's hostages, like they just took hostages from everywhere. I was like Daniel said, hostages meant 3, 5. That's a tragedy. 5, like 200 hostages was unfathomable. And then also like the information, because it was choppy, would have like slight mistakes, which I would pick up on. I was like, okay, so something major happened to Gaza envelope, but not, what they're reporting. And then it was like a question like, what do you do about it? Because it's on holiday. Like, do you not celebrate because it's a tragedy, but it's still the holiday. So like that was like a very like in between feeling of like, how do you? And I also like we're not getting accurate reporting. But when the holiday was over, which was a full day later, and I checked the recording, it was even worse. Which was, we've heard rumors on holidays before, like on Shabbos, like on Shabbat. We've heard like rumors, like things like this have happened over the last 40 years, and usually it's exaggerated what you hear. That's typically what happens. People exaggerate. Like typically it's not as bad as the rumor. This time it was like way worse. Like when we actually read the news, it was even worse than what we were being told. Because like as news was being dripped out in Israel, it was like filtering to us, and it was coming like old news. And like when we saw the actual what was going on, it was like it was another heartbreak. Like it was heartbreaking enough rumor, and then it was even worse. And that was, now we're here.
What about you, Rolly?
I was in the Mamad. Literally, I was. It's a protective room.
A shelter.
Yeah, a safe room. It's a sheltery room that is.
But were you in Tel Aviv or somewhere else?
Yeah, I was in Tel Aviv. My dad woke me up with the phone saying, "Are you okay? Are you in the Mamad?" I'm like, "What?" And then I heard the sirens because I was asleep.
And so you
Mamad, and then we didn't understand what was going on. But then we heard more reports.
Palestine. All right, everybody say goodbye today. There's no freedom of speech today, so everybody that comes here with bad vibes is gonna get kicked out of the room.
One of the things that the 7th of October did is give the Israelis, and I'm sorry to say that, but it gave us less. It destroyed a lot of our confidence in the military, because we heard then like it was like so surprising. It's like first they infiltrated, then we hear more and more reports, not even by the media, by people that say, "Oh, we see that they published some videos of Hamas, people with the Toyota van that they had, like infiltrating into their their kibbutzim and like residential area. And like, how did that happen? Like, how did they manage to infiltrate so deep? And it made us like wonder a lot. That was like super scary. But like a day after the military controlled the situation and pushed them back or killed everyone.
What about you, Norm? Where were you? What do you remember?
Well, we were celebrating Shmini Atzeret, so we really weren't supposed to be on our phones, but they started blowing up, and I was with some other friends from synagogue, and two of them had daughters there. So we started trying to figure out if their daughters were okay. In fact, our rabbi's daughter was there too. So all of us were trying to figure out if our loved ones were okay. And, you know, the loved ones of our friends. And then some voicemail started coming in from my friend's children. You know, what I heard here, because I wasn't turning on the TV or anything, was rumors. Like, what? And it took a long while first we sort of waited until the sun went down to really check in, and I never really wanted to look at any of the carnage, because I didn't want that in my head. But when the sun went down, we turned on the news reports. And then it was just shock and numb. You know, we were just numb. Like, what? It took a long time to be able even to process the information that was coming in, because it was so grisly. It was a little bit like 9/11, except I was there for 9/11. I'm less than a mile away from where the World Trade Center was. I could watch the whole thing happen. I saw the people running up 6th Avenue covered in dust on 9/11. In this case, it was like people that I loved were going through 9/11. In some cases, it was worse than 9/11 because it was such intimate violence, such excess of brutality. So it was so gratuitous, you know. I mean, I don't know how you compare these things, but, and then we all have friends. I mean, probably everybody you know in this room knows somebody who were killed or taken hostage. And then we started talking to the survivors. And then it was like, you know, that obsession with the news where you keep the news on all the time. Oh, I remember. Then we had these rooms at Clubhouse that were open 24/7, like people weren't sleeping. Everybody was just like monitoring the alerts that were going off. You know, we all have 57 different apps to tell us problem over here, problem over there, news from here, pictures from there. So I guess we became, you know, when you have a trauma, it's called hypervigilance. So we became hypervigilant, just trying to see what was going to happen next. Listening to all the world leaders who were expressing their sympathy. Remember when the Japanese people marched in solidarity with us, and the Japanese guys were singing Hebrew and waving Israeli flags? That was the funniest thing. And it was good to get all this support from people. I remember when Biden flew over there and hugged Bibi. I thought, well, that's really nice. I've never seen that before. So, thanks for asking. And thank you, everybody, for being here. This is important, and this is the right place to be.
What about you, William? Do you remember where you were? Thanks for sharing, Norm, by the way. All right, Donnie. Do you remember where you were?
Sorry. My experience was similar to Norm's. I think it was Simchat Torah that we had just celebrated, and I'm not Orthodox, so I use electronic devices, and I saw it pretty quickly. And as a Jew in the diaspora, it was traumatizing, and it was traumatizing for my family. And we followed it, and it's something we can't forget, and we need to protect each other, protect our people, and support Israel. Thanks.
Thanks, William. What about you, Danny? We're sharing where you guys in October 7, if you remember. Danny? Okay, Shlomo, we can go on back to Danny afterwards.
Where was I? In
Do
shock.
you live in the U.S., Shlomo, or in Israel?
I'm in Toronto.
Okay.
I was in shock, and I don't clearly remember, but I remember immediately after the first rally, because we rally, we don't protest, we rally peacefully, and I went to the first one of 52 on subsequent Sundays, including yesterday, in Toronto. A few hundred people gather every Sunday at a very major intersection in the Toronto Jewish community, a major artery in Toronto. And I went to Parliament Hill in Ottawa. There was about 10,000. I went to Christie Pitts. You can look it up. It's a famous place of a riot that took place between the Jews and Italians and the others 100 years ago, something like that, 80 years ago in Toronto. And then I went to a huge rally also, each one with over 10,000 people probably, in near where I live at City Hall in North York, Ontario. And I've gone to many, and I've been to churches and other supportive groups over these 12 months. So I know what I've done since and what I'm going to do in the future. Of course, continue praying and hoping and being realistic. That's the issue here. Be realistic. There is no peace partner. There is a manifold increase in what is anti-Semitism, but also, hopefully, there is a greater increase in those who understand the hate that's there, those in numbers, that there are greater numbers not being reported because they're not polled, whatever. And I believe that there are greater numbers of those who see the issue from our side and are peace-loving people that want to live together in harmony, not the divisive hatred that is being shown, unfortunately, by politics, which we're not here to discuss. I know, and I'm not going to. In everywhere, in America, in Europe, all over, and in Israel. And let's hope for a better future politically in Israel going forward. I think that they have seen that they're being divided and at odds and not even willing to discuss is what creates problems. We have a right and a responsibility to disagree, but to do so with each other respectfully, and that's what's been lacking. I think I'm ranting on, and I've said enough. I'm going to a big rally in Toronto tonight, very big rally.
Enjoy it. And fight fire with love, not fire with fire.
What about you, Glennis? Do you remember where you were?
I'm sorry, I'm working right now. I can't. I will talk in just a few minutes.
No worries. You, Deb?
Hi, thank you. I'm in the U.S. I don't exactly remember where I was, but I do remember getting news feeds and being on the phone with my sister and my brother who live in other parts of the U.S. and just feeling terrified but full of rage, just full of rage. And I remember just saying over and over, thank God Papa's dead, our grandfather, who survived pogroms in Poland and came to the U.S. And we just kept saying, thank God they're not here to see this. This is just so awful. But mostly I just remember rage. And I still have episodes of rage. Often.
You're far away, honey.
I had the same feeling that about my mother, that I can't say that I'm happy, but I'm happy that she wasn't here to experience it.
Hey, Green Living Seth, we're sharing where all of you were on October 7th, if you remember and you're willing to share.
Sure. I was on the app. We were hanging out in a room, and all of a sudden, somebody in the room said, "Oh my God, they're attacking this party in Gaza or near Gaza," and somebody sent the link to the Telegram chat, and we were watching it real time. So that Nova film that all those leaders watched, I was watching it real time, and it was horrific, of course, to say the least. What else? I just remember after that, how at first I was very angry, very like somebody's got to open up a can of whoop ass on these people, and I just remember how I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, this is not happening. This is not happening. Meaning, I knew it was happening, but I'm like, I was like, come on, not this being the once in a generation thing again. And it messed me up for about a week. I didn't know what to do, and then finally I just kind of dug my heels in and realized Jews are at war again, and there's a time for peace and a time for war, so I just put on my adult pants and said, let's get to work. And I've been advocating since and pushing since, and we'll be speaking at an event on November 20th about it. And just how it happened. Well, it's been happening. It was. We all knew it was kind of like building up, especially after the Kanye thing. But to see it happen was really just unbelievable, in my opinion. That we allowed it to get to this level without preventing it. Meaning,
coming, like we didn't see coming, but we did. And I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about like the intelligence community and everything. So I'm just glad that we're kicking ass and taking names, and Hashem is in our favor. That's all I gotta say right now about it. It's still kind of messed up, and last night it hit me like a rock at about 11:39 when it all started. So, thanks.
Thank you. Before we continue, I put, we had the ceremony of the families just started 5 minutes ago. So if anyone wants to see it live, I put a link at the top. This is the memorial service that the families are now doing in the Hayarkon Park in Tel Aviv. So there's a link at the top for the live broadcast, and I think in 5 minutes they will have like a moment of silence, I think, at 7:10.
At 7:10. Okay.
Thank you, Dan.
Make sure you let us know when it is. And
yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it in the background. If anyone wants to join, they can have the link at the top.
Shervin, do you want to share in 4 minutes where were you?
Where am I, or?
Yeah, you.
I'm in Iran.
No, where were you on 7th of October last year? This is what.
Oh, I was home. I following the Telegram news, 7 October, and see the horrible clips who Hamas get out, and that was so horrible for me.
Ishmael, thank you, Shervin. Do you think you can share with us in 3 minutes, no more? Where were you on 7th of October? If you remember?
I was in Portland, Maine.
I was home and
sorry, hold on.
searching Telegram for the.
Yeah, I know
news.
you, but Ishmael, I'm not asking Ishmael.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for sharing, Shervin.
Isa, I remember that. I don't remember where I was when I heard the news. Actually, I think when I heard the news, I was taking a shit at 5 a.m. on the toilet. But then I do remember that I was working a new job those days. Like right around this time last year, I was working at a new job. And I do remember that I was like totally unable to focus at the new job. And I kept like going outside and taking a break and going to the bathroom and looking at my phone. And then finally they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, I'm really upset about what's going on in Israel." And then they said, "You can go home and just stress and cry about it." And I thought that was kind of them.
Who else do we have that has not shared? Jeff, you have not shared with us.
I can't right now.
I will also say just one more
Daniel,
thing.
do you want to play?
It's Moshe in Hebrew and songs.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, staying quiet. For the ones that are on the phone.
Can you hear it?
Yes, perfectly well. Just tell us when exactly is that they start the minute of silence.
הזיכרון שלה עם החיוך הנצחי. הזיכרון שלהם שנייה לפני החתונה. והזיכרון שלו נהנה מהחיים. כל כך הרבה זיכרונות. כל כך הרבה אהבה.
אנחנו כערב האינסופי בחרנו לספר הערב הזה את סיפור השבת ההיא, כפי שחוו אותה משפחות שכולות, משפחות החטופים, משפחות הפצועים ומשפחות העקורים. זה הסיפור שלכם ושל כולנו, משמאל ומימין, מדרום ומצפון, דתיים, חילונים, יהודים ושאינם יהודים, כל מי שחי כאן יחד.
סיפור של שבר גדול, של אובדן אמון וזהות, ומי יודע, אולי, שיחלוף הזמן, שנחזיר את כולם הביתה, יהפוך הסיפור לסיפור של תקווה. ולפני שנמשיך, אנחנו רוצים לבקש סליחה. סליחה שלא נוכל לספר את כל הסיפורים, אבל אנחנו נזכור את כולם. ויש רבים כל כך לזכור. ודווקא בערב הזה בחרנו גם לשיר. כי שיר כמו תפילה, שמחברת בין בני אדם, ולפעמים שאין מילים, שנגמרות לנו המילים, אנחנו זקוקים למנגינה.
תודה לאזרחי ישראל ולעם ישראל בארץ ובעולם. האירוע הזה הוא שלכם, הוא קורה בזכותכם. מאוד רצינו את כולכם כאן איתנו הערב, אבל גם עכשיו, במציאות שנכפתה עלינו, אנו מרגישים את החיבוק החם שלכם למשפחות 7 באוקטובר, גם על החוק. בקהל המצומצם שנמצא איתנו כאן בפארק הירקון נמצאות משפחות 7 באוקטובר. מיליוני בני אדם ביותר מ-250 קהילות בישראל ובכל רחבי העולם צופים בנו בשידור חי. החיבוק המשותף הזה הוא סימן לכל מה שטוב ויפה בסיפור המשוגע של הארץ שלנו.
לזכר קורבנות 7 באוקטובר, ומלחמת רבות הזה, הקהל מתבקש לעמוד לדקה דומה. אזכור מאת הרב שמואל סלוטקי, ששכל ב7 באוקטובר את 2 בניו, ישי ונועם זכרם לברכה, לוחמי מילואים בגולני, שבשבת בבוקר הבינו את גודל האירוע, עלו ביוזמתם על מדים, לקחו את האקדחים האישיים שלהם ונסעו ללב הקרבות, שם נפלו בהגנה על יישובי הדרום.
במלחמה, על אף שאיבד את בניו, התגייס הרב ופיקד על פלוגה ביחידת הסריקה המטכ"לית.
This is a rabbi that lost two of his sons in this war.
כמו עם ישראל, את הנשמות הטהורות של בניו ובנותיו, קורבנות טבח שמחת תורה תשפ"ד. נזכור את הנרצחות והנרצחים בבתיהם, בקיבוצים, במושבים ובערים, בחבל עוטף עזה, שנפרצו ונכבשו בידי אויב אכזר וחסר רחמים. את הרעים הנמלטים בשדה מפני המרצחים ומפלט עין. נזכור את אמיצי הלב וברי הלבב שנחלצו להגנת היישובים, את הלוחמות והלוחמים בכיתות הכוננות, את החיילות והחיילים במוצבי הגדר שלחמו בעוז, מעטים מול רבים ונפלו חלל. את אנשי כוחות החילוץ וההצלה, שירות הביטחון הכללי, המשטרה וצבא ההגנה לישראל, שחשו מרחבי הארץ לעזרת אחיהם המותקפים וחרו לפני הקטל. יזכור ישראל ויתברך בזרעו, ויאבל על זיו העלומים וחמדת הגבורה, וקדושת הרצון ומסירות הנפש אשר נספו במערכה הכבדה. יהיו הם חתומים בלב ישראל לדור דור. נאמץ על ליבנו את החיים, שורדי התופת וניצולי מעשי הזוועה, את הפצועים בגוף ובנפש, את היתומות והיתומים, האלמנות והאלמנים בכל לימודי השכול, את פליטי החרב, קהילות ישראל על אלפיהם שאולצו לגלות מבתיהם ואין איש יודע מתי יוכלו שוב, את החרדים לשלום יקיריהם החטופים והנעדרים, את החטופים הכלואים בעזה והנעדרים שגורלם עוד לא נודע. הנה נשואות עיניהם אלינו, ועל דום אילנו עדי ישובו לגבולם, אל ישקוט ואל ינחם, ואל יפוג האבל, עד ישוב ישראל וגאל אדמתו השדודה, וישב עליה לבטח ובשלום לדור דור.
סרן אמיתי צבי גרנות, זכרו לברכה, קצין בחטיבה 7, נפל בקרב בגבול לבנון ב-15 באוקטובר. אמיתי כתב ביומנו, יש לי אמון בעם ישראל ובמדינת ישראל. יש לי אמון בגאולת ישראל, בארץ ישראל ובצבא ההגנה לישראל. מתוך כך אני בוחר לשרת. אני זוכה להיות חלק מהסיפור הגדול של עם ישראל, להביא את הטוב ואת האור לעולם. אביו של אמיתי, הרב תמיר גרנות, ראש ישיבת ההסדר אורות שאול בתל אביב, שרבים מתלמידיה ובוגריה לוחמים כבר שנה בקרבות בעזה ובגבול הלבנון, קרא קדיש.
קדיש.
גדל להתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותה, וימליך מלכותה, ויצמח פורקנה יקרב משיחל. בחיי חון וביומי ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה, ואמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
בשבת התעוררנו לארץ אחרת, לארץ שכלל לא הכרנו. זה אומנם אותו דגל, סתם נכים, אבל המקומות מלזר. מטבח רפויה, מערך ארוחה, וחביסה שתלויה בחלון.
בשבת התעוררנו לארץ אחרת. בשישי עוד הגענו ושרנו שירים. עכשיו הם אינם. ואולי מי יודע, הם שרים במקומות רחוקים, אחרים.
רוצה לבקר את אחי במושב. איזה שקט. הרוח נושבת נעים. צמרמור מתוחזת מכל משב כאן. הרוחות הן רוחות רפאים.
תלמידים זורקים, צעירים שרקדו, בקודם של שמחה, שכבר לא ידעים. שקט נורא, של עצם שחור. מה לעשות לבצעים? לרחוד בסך הכל.
לדעת שהוא כבר לא יתחתן, לא יישא לצעירים, לא יהיה אב לבן.
ולגיע יותר לארוחות בשבת. לא נזכה יותר לחיוב המבט. זה שקט מקפיא, חותך את האוויר. בית ילדותי אי אפשר להכיר. הוא הרוס ושבור, ובקיר יש בו חור. מי יודע האם יוכל לחזור? בשבת התעוררנו לארץ אחרת, לארץ שכלל לא הכרנו. זה אומנם אותו דגל, אותם אנשים, אבל לא המקומות בהם גרנו. ילדה שאיננה, תמונה במסגרת. אני פה, ושם, אין לי ארץ אחרת. אין לי ארץ אחרת, גם אם רק רק מילה בעברית חודרת, אלוקה נשמתי בקוראים ביתי לא אשפוט יוצאי
Wonderful. Oh, headed to the gym.
Yeah. You asked why blocks imply reckless. Destroying everything is reckless. And I said if everything inside that is a military target in virtue of the fact that it's widely spread in that city block, then I wouldn't think it is reckless. Because literally every single thing used or can be used like with high probability as a military for a military advantage, right? In virtue of that, I'm saying it's not reckless. In regards to saying you are not expert, I don't really understand. Did I ask you what you would do? Maybe I did.
No. It's kind of an ironic point. I'm being sarcastic.
You're saying like, had you asked me?
No. Well, kind of no. Like, it's not about you. Just remove yourself from this. I'm trying to lead your intuition towards it being reckless by saying a good example of like why it's reckless is if you took an actual moron.
It's like if I was reckless, I would do that.
Right. But not even just like if you took an actual moron, right? Like if you took a stupid person and said this is your objective. Now, try to successfully achieve your goal. It's like they go, all right, I could just destroy the city today and I would have achieved my goal. Now the idea is like that would be far more difficult if you were adhering to this like civilian mitigation strategy. It'd be very difficult. And then what would you require there? You need to use a lot more intelligence. You need to do a lot more isolated strikes. You try to move the civilians away from these targets, not with fucking letters, but presumably with like maybe special forces, infiltration. Like there's a lot of things you probably employ if your actual goal was eliminate the threat and protect the civilians. And the point is, people keep banging on about, this is what Israel's the gold standard. No one else has conducted urban warfare like Israel. It's like, well, not really, because they just destroyed the whole fucking city. That's like, it's what anybody would do, right?
Yeah, but they say the civilians.
Wait, 1 second, Michaela, please let him respond, please.
Yeah, so few things that I said that they are destroying those, for example, city blocks, because you can see a lot of those installations literally in spread in that city block. If you have that, it would be consistent with you being precise and also trying to minimize civilian casualties, in the addition that you are also telling the civilians to evacuate, which they do, right? Secondly, if you are not an expert and you just believe the expert, just read what you were saying that you have read, I think, in regards to John Spencer. You can see it by the civilian to combatants casualty ratio. You can see it by the tactics that they employ, literally opening up corridors in the middle of the main operation for all the rest of the civilians that were still in that area to evacuate to the south, and so on and so forth.
But then there's this bomb. Oh, sorry. If you want to finish, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And I'm not sorry. For some reason, I wrote the. Oh yeah, and this is what you would do if you are also reckless, right? Look, this is what I said. That this is like the consequentialist fallacy. To say that say the consequence infers you with the intention. You can be reckless and you can be not reckless, and the consequence will be the same.
No, of course. Obviously, you're trying to make an inference. Like what else? I'm not. It's not necessarily the case, right? I'm just saying that. Well, I mean, you know what my inference is, obviously, right? That being said, the point is, like, if you look at, for instance, like the hostage operation where they killed however many Palestinians, like 300 off the rescue operation, and there's like. Okay, yeah, cool. And there's like other instances, similar instances, like I said, the instances of like, that was the point I wanted to bring up as well. Like, for instance, what's the name of the organization? The Doctors Without Borders, right? Reporting that children were coming in to be treated and triaged with like sniper wounds gunshot wounds to the head from sniper rounds and stuff like that, right? So clearly that like, there is some evidence of, at the very least, the most charitable interpretation is like of recklessness that doesn't necessarily go up the chain of command, but it's definitely present amongst the ranks in the IDF, right, in the way they're prosecuting this military operation.
Yeah, like I would gladly say that there are soldiers that are misbehaving and are not
war criminals. I think would be more accurate.
And are trigger happy and war criminals and whatever you want to say.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But then, sorry, one other point, the John Spencer thing. But there is a lot of pushback, and one of the reasons I don't really engage with this like debate about ratios is what I mentioned before. Like until the fog of war clears, until they've searched through all the rubble, we don't know how many civilians are dead. And then similarly, there's obviously dispute between the Gaza Health Ministry and Israel in terms of, Hamas and Israel in terms of the amount of civilians that have been killed and/or the amount of enemy combatants. So this idea that you can come up with this like precise ratio, or you can even get a general idea, seems a bit confused at this stage of the conflict. It just seems like very confusing.
Can I just have one comment on that, Rody? 10 seconds. If that's the case, Timothy, then you should reserve judgment and about the numbers of civilian of all the casualties in Gaza. If you are really committed to letting the fog of war settle and then getting actual numbers, you should not be spreading the 40,000 number either.
No, because women and children have been killed, and obviously, given the nature of this like Islamic fundamentalist organization, I think you can get a pretty good idea of the fact that at least those, the women and stuff, they're not like combatants, right? They're not militants, they're not fighters. That being said, or at least a high percentage of them there's going to be far fewer than amongst the men. But also, like there are multiple responses in terms of from people that I think have far more expertise in this idea of this like whole kind of discipline, if you like, of like civilian mitigation strategy. And one of them, like I said, was an article, I'll find it, where they do a comparison between the bombing campaign in Raqqa, and the bombing campaign in Gaza, right? And I think I don't want to make any claims, but it's shown to be like far more, like by orders of magnitude more excessive in terms of the civilian casualty rate, even using conservative estimates relative to the civilian casualty rate in Raqqa when when the US was fighting ISIS, right? And also the weaponry used.
Were the civilians embedded? Was the military infrastructure in Raqqa embedded as it was? I think you should go with your original thing. With you're not an expert. I think you should go with that.
No. I'm saying the article I'm going to provide when I find the source. The article is they're using it as a close comparison. Like so, it's saying like this is basically the closest kind of comparison we're going to get. But another point that was made in terms of this this idea of like mitigating civilian casualties was the choice of ordinances used. So high yielding munitions, 2,000-pound bombs, dumb bombs, these kinds of things, right? Where like the US, that's not the ordinances that were deployed, by the US in Raqqa. So it's like you take the combination of the action. So it's not just the fact that X amount of civilians have died relative to how many died in Raqqa. It's also the kinds of weapons that are being used, right? The tactics that are being employed by Israel. And it just seems like it completely deviates from this idea of the gold standard. And that was a response to this John Spencer guy. Let me see if I can find it.
Sorry, okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, what we were talking about the civilian you said it was silly for me to use the civilian to combatant ratio. No, I don't think it is silly. I actually think that right now, if you will use the two numbers that the IDF and Hamas provides, it would literally mean that I am giving some charity to Hamas when they are pulling up their numbers. And I think I shouldn't do that, but even with that charity, it would still mean that the civilian to combatant ratio is well inside the acceptable military. I wouldn't say acceptable, but I think you know what I mean. But in regards to whether or not they are telling the truth or are just inventing numbers, I have like there are literally 5 different statistical analyses that show that they are like fabricating numbers. Let me just say, I know you didn't try to get that. That's immaterial to whether your critic is ultimately just that the inference isn't deductive. I didn't say that the inference should be deductive. I'm saying that it's just a consequentialist fallacy, because the only thing that you are having right now is the outcome. This is what he was talking about, just the outcome, right? If people want to tell me, right, give like some type of a background knowledge in virtue of that background knowledge, they can infer the intention. I wouldn't say that this is a fallacy. But in this case, it's only about the outcome, and just appealing to the outcome will not suffice an inference.
So why else would you need?
I don't think empathy was just appealing. Yeah, that was like I built a cumulative case up to that point. But just quickly before, because my battery's gonna die, can I just read that? Can I just read that really quickly, sorry, before my laptop dies? So the IDF does not. So this is from I'll post the link because I need to send it to my phone. It's on my laptop. Okay, yeah. The IDF does not regularly report the numbers of airstrikes. Oh, sorry. This calculation to be meaningful, we need to use data for both airstrikes and casualties. That was current IDF's last report. Okay. The IDF's last report on airstrikes was February the 20th. As of this date, the IDF reported 29,000 airstrikes in Gaza. At that date, the number of reported civilian deaths in Gaza was roughly 29,200. The number of Hamas fighters killed in action had been claimed by the IDF and Hamas, both without evidence. The IDF claims 12,000 fighters killed, while Hamas claims 6,000 fighters killed. This is February 20th, 2024, right? We can look at those numbers, given the demographic data from the health ministry. Out of the 29,000 deaths, about 9,700 were men and the rest were women and children. If the IDF claim is true, this is equivalent to every man being killed in Gaza being a Hamas fighter and several thousand women and or children being Hamas fighters. This is extremely unlikely, but to be extremely conservative, I'll use the IDF reported Hamas casualty numbers, 12,000, to give a lower bound on civilian deaths in Gaza. In addition, we need to subtract deaths that would normally happen for this population, 4,900 deaths per year on average, equivalent to 1,838 deaths in a 4.5-month period. This gives us minimum number of civilian war deaths of approximately 15,000. Based on 29,000 airstrikes, this leads to an average of 54 civilians killed per 100 attacks. How does this compare to other operations? A roughly comparable operation where we have similar data is urban operations in Raqqa, Syria against the Islamic State. In the Raqqa operation, according to DoD reporting, there were 178 civilian deaths and 10,663 airstrikes. On average, 1.7 civilian deaths per 100 attacks. The number for Raqqa was not considered to be good, never mind the gold standard. In fact, there was so much concern about the levels of civilian harm and destruction in Raqqa that the DoD conducted an independent assessment of civilian harm. Disclaimer, I was a member of the team that authored the report, so this is the author of this article. The findings of this assessment contribute to the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan, directed by U.S. Secretary of Defense, blah, blah, blah. For example, our study team considered the air war estimates of 744 civilians. Okay, this yield. Sorry, I'm trying to gloss over to the part where it goes back to the comparison. Despite the alarm over the high rate of civilian deaths in Raqqa, one finds the minimum equivalent in Gaza, 54 civilians killed in 100 attacks, is 8 times greater than the Air Wars-based estimate and 32 times greater than the DoD estimate. And recall that 54 is a lower bound for the Gaza ratio. It is far likely higher than this. Just as miners in California could see the appearance of, okay, this is back to the article point. But that's just to give you like a rough kind of idea of why like this idea of this like gold standard is kind of flawed. Because like the way you're kind of approaching this is taking IDF numbers, using civilian ratios, and then comparing them to what accused genocides. Whereas like actually just in the way in which operations are conducted, similar operations are conducted, there's far more excessive use of force and far less of a view for protecting or safeguarding civilians in the area.
Yeah.
That's me the whole way.
Yeah, so few things to say about that, and this is just like out of my rear, just because I need to read this entire article and to see whether or not there are also responses.
I'm gonna post it now.
But usually there are. That first of all, there is a huge difference because Gaza, literally people cannot leave from Gaza. Secondly, that the fact that kill per bomb is some type of something that even relates to any type of a standard, just like it seems to me just prima facie just laughable. It has nothing like to do with it. If one bomb had killed like 100,000 people and all of those were combatants, I don't think this would not be part of the gold standard. In regards to what they said, in regards to what he said in this article about the civilian casualties, yeah, no shit, I don't believe the Gaza Health Ministry, as I said before, and I can make a very easy case to why I think they're fabricating numbers. Not to mention also that Hamas is like well known to use children as combatants.
Yeah, but what? Sorry. Why would this serve to undermine the Gazan Health Ministries? And I'm like, I thought it would have done so for the IDF. The whole point was that it said that the IDF claims
are not consistent. Are not consistent with the Gaza Health Ministry.
Well, no, clearly they're inconsistent with it. But saying if the IDF claim is true, this is equivalent to every man being killed in Gaza being a Hamas fighter and several thousand women and children being Hamas fighters.
If you are taking the Gaza Health Ministry to be approximately good numbers.
So wait, just to be clear, you're saying so the 30,000 is the lie?
Yeah. Actually,
so,
no.
So you want to say they killed like 20,000 and 12,000 was.
One second. Actually, not even that. It can be that this specific was a lie. Actually, I think everything is fabricated, and I can defend that claim.
Oh, like the breakdown of men and women, you mean?
Yeah, the breakdown. Yeah, I can say like the breakdown of men and women, and the total number, and the fact that they also didn't say that like.
Israel's more reliable. Claiming 12,000 and giving no sources. They're way more, and not allowing foreign press in to verify any of the claims they make. They're more reliable.
Yeah, I take just generally democratic countries that have to be a little bit more reliable.
That's really tough. But it's like, but mostly because.
Okay, one second. Piper, why is it dumb? Go ahead.
Yeah, because whether they're democratic or not has nothing to do with whether they're telling the truth about the statistics. Like, what are you talking about?
Hold on, but the reason I don't even follow any of it, bro, is because.
Your audio is terrible, by the way.
Yeah, it is really bad.
I'm just hearing mumbling, dude. I can't hear what you're saying.
It is really bad.
Hello?
Yeah, better now.
Okay, sorry. I have like a... Oh, never mind. So, yeah, I tend to believe more democratic countries because I think that they are less lying than totalitarian.
Yeah, that's stupid.
No, but can I just...
I told you why already, and then you laughed like you were going to respond, and then you just restated the thing I said was dumb.
You literally said because there is no connection, right? Because there is no connection between whether or not the regime is totalitarian or democratic to whether or not they affirm the...
Yeah, pretty much none. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I think there's a more forceful case to be made, which is the whole point is that no, they're not democratic towards the victims, right, of the attack that they are potentially lying about. Right. So actually, like the only time the democracy is clearly undermined is in the treatment of these people that are citizens, that are supposed to be citizens, that aren't granted equal rights.
Just to be clear, this is not my only claim. It's just like left in the beginning, and this is...
Yeah, well, that's the claim he's addressing. Why do we have to go on to, like, the Gishgal? Just address the thing that's being talked about.
No, wait. I'm making it like an accumulative case. Like,
that's fine. But when we address each piece of the cumulative case, you can't just say, oh, well, even if this fails, I have more. Yes, we know that. Can we just address what we're talking about?
Piper, you didn't address it. You just said there is no connection between it. I'm saying there is. What is the argument here, Piper?
Oh, yeah, the argument is that even democratic states have an interest, right, in lying.
Yeah,
That's the obvious.
You know, like Saddam's weapons of mass destruction.
How is that a stupid argument?
Because the fact that they have an interest in lying doesn't mean that they are able to lie. They have more immunity to lie than totalitarian regimes.
Well, they banned all the foreign press, and they.
Well, first of all, I mean, there's like five problems.
Okay.
There's like five. Buddy, I have a feeling you were dominating the stage before I came in here, so how about you let me speak?
I'll go.
No, wait, hold on. No. Look. I'm moderated. Look. Piper, let me finish what you're saying, and then you go.
Let me just take the L on that. I take that that Israel. I can give like different examples. For example, I take that Israel has like much better intelligence. I think that Israel has much better internal critiques. I think that Israel has much more data in regards to how many combatants that have been killed in virtue of the. I talked to a specific general in regards to how they are conducting their research. Right, they're like cross-examining between photos, between estimations of each attack. They have also interrogated specific people that Hamas personnel that they captured, and so on and so forth. Right, and I'm saying that I believe Israel much more than Hamas.
Yes, right? We know that. You've said that 5,000 times.
Wait.
Can you do something about Piper? He needs a daddy to shut him.
Alright, she, but okay, yeah, let him finish.
Sorry.
I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
No, I didn't try to. Look, and I said no, but Piper. The argument that I made lends credence to the conclusion. I didn't make the final statement as an argument.
No, the point that I just made was that you just keep saying, "Oh, I don't trust Hamas and I trust Israel." I know that. You don't have to keep repeating it, right? But to address the stuff that you said, so is the point about Israel's intelligence, right, supposed to be independent of the point about whether they're reporting data accurately or truthfully, rather? It is? This is bizarre.
They have more access.
Can you please do something about your mic? It's fucking terrible.
You sound like you're on the freeway, Roby.
No, that's Piper, not me.
No, I certainly have cars in the background, but I can't even understand what you're saying.
Alright, but then Papa, you need to mute, because I can only hear calls.
Oh, is it because, okay, that might actually be my fault. All right. So I'll mute when I'm not talking, but yeah, so is the point about whether they're telling the truth supposed to be, or rather, is the point about whether they have accurate data supposed to be an independent point in their favor?
No. One of the things
that I said, and I'll try to repeat myself right now, but please don't make me repeat again, is that they have much more investigative bodies within the military, right, and within the government that will be much harder for them to lie about the deaths.
Why?
Because for them to lie, you will need to have a coordination between multiple investigatory bodies within the IDF.
Why?
Because, if more people know about the data, right, and more organizations and more bodies know about the data, it will be harder for them to mask the data.
Okay, so what you've just done is given us a reason. Timothy, please! What you've just done is given us a reason to believe fucking Colin Powell about weapons of mass destruction. Good job.
I actually think if I can just say...
Wait, one second.
Did I say that they cannot lie? Or did they say...
No! My point wasn't addressing the point that they can't lie. It was about the likelihood, right? I was addressing the same point you were making. So don't Martin Bailey, please.
Wait, she did use... Oh, yeah, sorry, go. Yeah. In general, yes, if you say democracy, then less likely to lie about general things in the country.
I don't think that's even true. I think that's completely wrong.
No. Wait, please just give me, because I've hardly spoken, right?
Sure, sir.
So generally, general things in the country, let's say there was a vote in Israel and they counted the votes, they're less likely to lie. This is something...
I'll come back in Actually, one second. Professor, one second. Albedo, will you open up in a different room?
We'll ping you. I'll ping you. If I'm there, I'll ping you.
If we do, we can. So, although it's not here, but I'm saying this is, we're bringing the comparison of weapons of mass destruction. This is a particular situation where they have a very good incentive to actually, and when he's saying, there'll be a problem covering it up. How about not collect the data of the civilians who died in the first place, not collected properly, then nobody has to lie. And spokespeople of Israel have been interviewed where somebody claimed, X amount of Hamas have been killed. I don't know what the number was, maybe 12,000.
it was Piers Morgan, right? Asked that person that, okay, what's the number? If you say Hamas figures are wrong, what's your figure of the civilian deaths? He didn't know.
No, listen, it's absolutely ridiculous that they're barring foreign press from accessing Gaza, and all the foreign press that are being basically chaperoned in Tel Aviv can't release anything without essentially getting it rubber stamped by Israel, right? Like they need authorization to do any kind of reporting on the conflict. So like this idea, like that lends far more credence to the fact that there is some kind of like chicanery for. That being said as well, this whole idea of like a quote unquote democracy, this is a country that's accused of maintaining an apartheid against the victims
by human rights organizations.
No,
by South Africa, who removed.
Oh, okay. So
bye, buddy. Nah, he's that guy, that rich whatever his name.
Yeah, I know, but it was gonna be funny to shit on him.
No, but he just spurgs, like he doesn't.
Yeah, that's
actually
true.
Like he's just like a weirdo. But the point, yeah, like basically the people you're accused of like genociding are the people that don't benefit in any way from your democracy. So I don't know how like appealing to the fact that you're a democratic state is evidence for you to act like virtuously.
I mean, that's not even like independent of all of that. Like what he just said, and you can always say, "Oh, this is a cumulative case." So if any piece of the data, if any piece of the point that I'm making fails, right? Well, then I have all this other stuff. Which, by the way, that's not going to work if everything that you say is actually like really bad. But putting that aside, right? Just on the point about like, oh well, actually you have to have, multiple sort of, because there are all these. And by the way, this isn't connected to the point about it being democratic. This is just, okay, Israel is a more militarily sophisticated power than Hamas is, right? So the democracy is irrelevant. But the other thing, so okay, it's okay, so we have these sophisticated institutions that all collaborate with each other to get data, right? That's reliable for the military to operate on, right? Okay, same thing with the United States. And guess what? Should we now believe that Colin Powell was telling the truth about weapons of mass destruction? Because the same point goes to the United States. Would you put that into a cumulative case? Would you put that into a cumulative case for there actually being weapons of mass destruction? No, you wouldn't. It's a fucking stupid point.
There's like far more evidence for them being this. Like it's like to a ridiculous degree where like even some pro-Israel supporters say you're basically like kneecapping us, right, or undercutting us by fucking not allowing foreign press into Gaza. Like it's making it more difficult.
Oh, by the way, did you hear what he said? Oh, but part of the casualty number is going to be mitigated by the fact that Gazans can't leave. Whose fault is that exactly?
No, it's like, to be honest, like it's kind of difficult talking to Rody about these things.
No, his brain turns to fucking jealous.
Like that consequentialist fallacy is like absolutely ridiculous. Like, wait, so you can't make an inference from the absolute devastation of like, and obviously it's not completely in isolation, but even just let's say like in some isolation where you could say like, hey, a tactical like just like stupid example, but you know what I mean, like basically there was a rocket launcher in a hospital somewhere. It's like, okay, what you should do is destroy the entire city just to target that hospital. I think it's fair to say that like the people responsible for destroying or razing the entire city were like the most generous way you could evaluate that is that they were like reckless, right, in their approach. It's like, oh no, that's a fallacy. Like what?
Well, I think actually all you need for the inference, actually, that this is basically an intentional extermination of the Gazans, is the fact that the stated military goal is we're getting rid of Hamas. Okay, the Gaza is such a populated and small land area that actually getting rid of Hamas would require expelling all of the Gazans out of Gaza, right? Or fucking killing them completely, right? So if now the people, the Israeli military decision makers know that, right? So if they made a decision to prosecute the war with the goal of eliminating Hamas, let's suppose that's their goal, right? And they're not just lying about that, right?
if that was the goal, right, then they knew that instrumental to that goal, right, a necessary step would be eliminating the Gazans.
No, but I can't remember that term. Is it something specialis? I forget the term.
Dolus specialis.
Dolus specialis. That's it, right? The whole point is like I feel like that's a bit more precarious to prove if that's the stated intent or if that's the inferred intent. Whereas I just think it's much more simple to prove this case, of which I imagine that was the route that the South Africans were taking, even though I didn't read the 8-page report or whatever. But it's just easier to just demonstrate collective punishment. The fact that this group, the fact that
I think that is, you're right that that's easier to demonstrate. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, and, whether this is actually, this would hold up in a court of law, I'm not exactly sure. I think it probably should, but I don't know what the legal standards are relevant to this.
Be negligent, maybe committing war crimes.
Yes, probably be more in that area. But I think, putting the law aside, right, in terms of what a reasonable person should infer, from the fact that they knew that this would require the extermination of the Gazans, right, means that that's enough for a reasonable person to infer intent, to infer genocidal intent, and it should be enough for a reasonable person to infer genocidal intent.
100%. But you take that in conjunction with these AI human targets.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that we don't even have to get into that shit, right?
No, I know. I'm just saying because the whole point here is okay, but they are explicitly assigning collateral tolerances, and they're ridiculous relative to the military gain that they're going to obtain.
Yeah.
Low-level combatant.
The other thing that I don't understand.
Apartment building.
The other thing that I don't understand about this is how any of these people think that the war against Hamas is at all achieving any of the military goals. They are literally fighting people who are appearing out of the ground one second and then disappearing another, right? There's no precedent for fighting a below-ground war, right? So, none of the goals are being achieved, right?
We had this discussion earlier, and to be fair, I think it was Uri kind of agreed with me. It's the consensus of most of the intelligence personnel that there's no way to quote-unquote destroy Hamas, and that actually it reduces the safety or the security of Israelis by not ending the occupation and focusing on some kind of military campaign against these against the Hamas fighters, right? So it's but I don't know. Anyway, at this point, I've run every single argument twice or three times over today.
Yeah, and this one, which we all know as well, that when Roddy was saying, well, you're running consequentialist argument, we don't have any other thing about their motives. All we see is the destruction, and we want to jump to, that, right? But we do have them saying, the generals and Netanyahu, the rhetoric they say about human animals and all that, right? And we're stopping
Amalek.
at water.
I'm here, by the way. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you're back. Okay. Yeah. So let me just finish this point. But when you I lost track.
When you take all the genocidal rhetoric in conjunction with the devastation we're witnessing, then it does build a cumulative case, and it's not just you're isolating basically the destruction of some apartment building and saying based on that they're reckless. You're saying no, based on the fact that you're instructing the soldiers to consider these people fucking Amalek. And you're using these human targeting machines where you're assigning this ridiculous tolerance, collateral tolerance, and then you destroy an apartment building. I think it's fair to assume that the most charitable interpretation of what's transpired is you've been remarkably reckless for for a quote unquote high tech military.
Yeah, and
that's the
nicest. Because I was having this in mind that I lost the hospitals. I think it's almost all of them. The schools, the universities, all I think Roddy was saying, they made a mistake, somebody pressed something. It's almost all of them, maybe even the hospitals, maybe even all of them have been bombed. This looks more strategic, and they say, we found tunnels, sometimes we hear those tunnels of some that they found were actually built long time ago by the Israelis, even when they knew about those tunnels.
No.
Some of them, they put let me just finish, you can refute later, they put some kind of AI generated
I saw that on BBC.
This is a command and control center, and by the time they got there, it was a kind dining room with some calendar on top, like.
And they put the two AK-47s and
Yeah, so
one AK-47.
you have yeah, democracy might like be more likely to tell the truth than like a totalitarianism. But we in some cases where you have like some kind of incentive to create some kind of motive, like Saddam's weapons of mass destruction. This is the like for like case for that. Israel can't be trusted on this. And on the numbers of who's dead, we hear too that in past wars, when Hamas collected the figures or something like that, they've been
largely accurate.
They've verified to be accurate. Also, destruction on ground looks like their figures might be right. We're looking at it. Let's say there was like almost no building destroyed, and then Hamas said, 40,000, we know the alliance. The stuff we're seeing, but with people might have also been under the rubble. Hamas figures might even be an underestimate. So this thing about, they're not that, it's almost like gaslighting. Yeah, that's what it looks like, because there was an Israel spokesman who appeared on the UK news, right?
Well, the one who got fired.
Who knew the amount of Hamas fighters and was claiming that they killed, I think she was saying 12,000 or something like that,
right.
Some ambassador, and they put it to the person. Okay, what if you say Hamas figures are wrong? What are the number of civilians that you've killed? You don't know. You didn't count properly, and then you're claiming that other people's figures are wrong. It's gaslighting.
I think
Can I respond really quickly? Wait, 1 second. There was a lot of things that were happening. First of all, you didn't make an accumulative case before. The only thing that you were talking about is destruction. Had you made it an accumulative case, we were talking about all of those points one by one, such as, for example, when Netanyahu said, remember what Amalek did to you, which is literally said every single time that something bad happened to the Jews, including, for example, in the Museum Memorial Holocaust Memorial in Israel. The first thing that you see is remember what Amalek did to you. I don't think this museum calls for a genocide of the Germans. In regards to what it was,
why did you address human animals? Why did you just address Amalek?
Yeah, because the human animals was specifically saying we are fighting human animals, and I think and it was targeted against Hamas, not against everyone. By the way, I didn't hear that you said.
Are you rejecting the fact that genocide? Because that's the point. Like, forget specific instances. Are you rejecting that genocidal rhetoric was used by Israeli officials?
Yeah.
You're denying that any genocide?
Yeah, I deny that. Yeah, no, not any. Probably some people that are not really part of the defense cabinet.
Officials.
Yeah, no, I don't deny that maybe Israeli officials said
like
something.
maybe
I'm saying
Itamar Ben-Gvir.
Let me know when I can still continue with all of the falsehoods that I have heard. So, in regards, by the way, tell me what Itamar Ben-Gvir said, which was genocidal.
His
by the
plan
way,
is
he's
to
not part.
reconquest Gaza.
Yeah, that's not genocidal. But in regards
okay.
Wait, how is it genocidal?
How is it genocidal to basically expel the Gazans and settle Gaza? That's not genocidal.
Expelling is not part of the genocide convention. So,
oh, really?
Oh, it is.
Yes, really.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, one point here is that, yeah, of course, if I settle on Mars, I'm not genociding anybody, right? But if you look at historical genocides, I don't understand how you didn't understand that point.
Can someone else explain what was his?
Or maybe you can just listen to me, right, and not
No, it's
like
a really hard.
And not be so intentionally pig-headed that you can't follow a simple point.
Okay, okay, can someone else explain to me the Mars?
Oh, okay, so you're gonna insist on being pig-headed? That's fine.
No. 1 second. I'm saying I might be slow, okay? It's not you, it's me. Okay. I'm asking for anyone else to try to explain to me. Is it fine?
Well, that implies that it is me, but go ahead.
Can someone else explain the Mars point?
I didn't understand the Mars point.
Okay, so the Mars point was just to say that I'm aware that settlement anywhere, regardless of the impact of any people, right? I'm aware that doesn't constitute genocide. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with genocide. But the point is how the settlements, right, are actually affecting the indigenous population, if there is an indigenous population, right? Because historical genocides are connected to settler colonialism.
I think this is I don't know, man. I don't really like.
What?
Can
I just like continue? Can I just continue?
Anthony, can you tell me, was what I just said like so retarded that it couldn't even be followed?
No, it's not about followed. It's about like this is ridiculous. First of all, I don't think Israel is a settler colonialism, but we can talk about it later.
No, the point was just to say that you saying settlement doesn't necessarily have anything to do with genocide. In this context, the connection is obvious.
Okay, thank you for your input. Can I talk to someone smarter?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Run away!
Don't worry, I will address
Run away!
I know she's being now, but that was a reasonable point.
Wait, who?
Oh no, Timothy, I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh, here is it. Yeah, you are. Okay, so one second. I already said Amalek. We were talking about the human animals, specifically talking about Hamas. I don't take that to be a genocide, but one second. Then there was the bombed blocks. I forgot what you said, Jacob. What you were saying about the bombed blocks?
Damage, if we see, I think Jacob's point was like, if we see, like basically, do you want to say it, Jacob? You do it, it's fine. Yeah, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, the point you're about to respond to, Rody, is that he said, yeah, the number could even be an underestimate based on what we're seeing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So the first thing to say about that is...
Sorry, to add this, also accounting for like, there'll probably be people under the rubble as well that we haven't counted.
No, so first of all, the way they do the data collection, even in that under their methodology, is that they are also doing it by reports and literally also by news. For example, the Al-Hali explosion.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. He's not going to address the point and ramble on about nothing. That's great.
Can someone be a daddy for Piper and shut him up? Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are allowed.
I mean, I think I should be able to make my commentary if he's just gonna like, say, "Oh, you're too stupid to talk to."
Sorry, Piper, of course you're allowed to speak. But one thing is like, let him finish whatever he has to say, and you can respond. If he doesn't want to respond to you, it's up to him. But let him.
Yeah.
So all of those things, if you look at the methodology, is that they are counted about with the people that are under the rubble, because they literally can report them to the Gaza Health Ministry, and they do that, and they also go by news articles. Then there was the tunnels by Israel. For example, the Al-Shifa hospital, they found 3 different entrances of tunnels. The fact that they didn't see 3 stores of tunnels doesn't mean that there weren't tunnels. And it is not to say that Hamas didn't use the hospital as a military base, such as, for example, they went and took, we have videos of them. By the way, someone is breathing really heavily. Okay, thank you. For example, that they take hostages into those tunnels. You can see, I think there was a video of them shooting from the windows. A lot of people with weapons inside it, and so on and so forth. And then there was the this was only the control center. I forgot. What was the point of the control center? Probably the same thing.
We see some models and AI models, and when they it's not as models.
Not exactly as they said. Yeah.
They made it seem advanced and sophisticated, and then it didn't look like that.
Okay. The calendar, by the way, just to be clear, I actually agree with you in regards to the calendar. The calendar was a total blunder and makes them look like an idiot. They put AK-47. Where did they put AK-47?
I can't remember. But there was 2. And some kind of scanning machine or something like that.
No, I just heard some rumors that they did that. I never seen anything.
The BBC, bro. Even the BBC called them out for it. The BBC called out all the discrepancies. I swear to God, there's you can watch it on YouTube.
No, there were for example, I'm familiar with there were 2 videos. One of a person that puts an AK-47 in a pile after the evacuation, after they removed people from the hospital. And then there was another shot of point, and it was those 2 videos were literally consistent, and they were claimed to not be consistent.
You know, before we move to another point, can I just address something you said earlier? Because you said the way the health ministry records these deaths, they would include the people under the rubble. But that's not true, because missing persons are meant to be separate from the casualty rate. So basically, from my understanding, it's the medical professionals confirm the deceased, right? And then they go back, and then they work backwards to find their identity. But for the people that are missing, they're not included amongst the dead. So that's not true. That's my understanding. From my understanding. Well, but I decided not to argue.
No, wait, one second. I was not talking about the fact that they are missing. I was talking about the fact that people can literally report without even any type of an investigation about that, like without any, how do you say it? Confirming this, literally report, and they will put it in they will put it under their statistics in the same way that they did with the Al-Hali, in the same way that they did with the Al-Hali explosion.
Well, I think that's going to be
the point that he brought up about the Pierce Morgan thing, that the guy was coming on, so sure about the numbers on one side, and then when Pierce Morgan asked him, he's like, oh, well, we don't know, but I can just give you the Gaza numbers, the Hamas ministry numbers, and Pierce Morgan asked the guy, well, why would you give them to me if they're false? It was a very weird...
Well, no, he didn't, he didn't say that. He said, like, why would you have a number for one and not the other?
Something like that.
I watched it, and I remember the part where Pierce Morgan asked him specifically about the other side's numbers, because the guy came out and gave very specific numbers on the numbers of Hamas fighters that were killed by Israel. He had a very specific number. Then Pierce Morgan said, okay, well, what about the other sides? And first the guy said, we don't have the numbers. And he said, well, and then Pierce Morgan pressed him, and they said, well, I could just give you the Hamas numbers, because he was annoyed and frustrated. And then Pierce Morgan said, well, why would you give me the Hamas numbers if they're false? That literally was...
Now I understand. No, but the point that they tried to... The point... I'm not sure. Jacob, what was the point that you were trying to make when you said that they had numbers for one and not the other?
It seems like, because you were saying that, one reason why Israel should be trusted is that it would take like a conspiracy for them to like maybe know the figures, and some people collect the figures. But I was thinking, if they didn't collect it properly in the first place, I don't think they were counting the civilians they were killing properly. So this number is not known. Nobody has to conspire. Nobody has to lie. They just need to go out, keep claiming that the Hamas figures are rigged. That's all you need to do. It's very easy.
No, but wait. I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not saying the Hamas figures are rigged because I like how it sounds. Now, literally, again, I can tell you, first of all, I also know about the data, but there are literally 5 different statistical analyses that show, right, that heavily indicate, I wouldn't say show, heavily indicate that they are fabricating numbers. By the way, when I say they are fabricating numbers, the numbers can be more, the numbers can be less, right? I'm not saying that those numbers have to be more than what they are claiming or less what they're claiming. I'm just saying that they are fabricating those numbers.
Yeah,
just one second.
Like a rough estimate.
Historically, the numbers, if you go back, and maybe you're just
I agree.
about this conflict, but historically, this has not been the case, where they're like, Hamas's numbers are so wrong. You look back over 10 years, their numbers are like 90% the same. It's only and also,
absolutely.
Wait, okay, guys, just one. Sorry.
Okay.
Divine, sorry.
Let me know if I can respond to that.
No, you get, but wait, Albedo, is anyone there? Because I thought you guys said the room was about to end.
Oh yeah, it's 10 hours 47 minutes, so we need to keep an eye on it. Maybe like for a couple minutes.
Just 1 second.
Goodbye.
So you can just like close this room and we'll open up in a different room.
Yeah, just these guys.
Why do you want to be on like the verge of like of this?
Yeah,
it's not because you're still talking, right?
I'll enter this other room.
I need fucking Andrew to do it, so I need to see if he's fucking away.
Andrew is here, it seems to me, like he unmuted himself for now.
Oh, did he?
Andrew, yeah?
No, we can't open the room. Andrew has to do it.
Yeah.
Wait, is he the only person that can open rooms in this club?
Because it's his house. No, it's changed. It's like, it's not.
Okay.
Alright, we'll carry on, and worst case scenario, we'll just end it and start a room later, I guess. So, carry on.
Yeah, no problem. In regards to those numbers, I agree with you, right? I agree with where is he? I think it was Divine something, right? I agree with you that they were correct before, but we have a lot of reasons to believe that they are not correct right now, right? First of all, the statistical analysis that I was talking about. Again, if anyone wants me to give the specifics of why they are wrong, such as, for example, the lack of correlation between women and children, or the consistency within 2 weeks of the numbers of death plus minus 15%, which doesn't make any sense, or the fact they lowered the number, they revived people, revived men, but they didn't do it to women and children, or the fact that they counted 500 in the Al-Hali hospital. I can like go on and on and on. This is just to be clear, I'm not even starting to show the problems with this analysis. But the second thing to say about that is that those previous examples were much, much different in scale. And in those previous examples, they had also a different methodology to count the dead. And also they didn't have Hamas member literally to be at the top of the Gaza Health Ministry. Before that, they didn't have that. It was only affiliated, but now they're members. And that's why there are like a lot of reasons to disbelieve. That because they... Okay, go ahead.
So this feels like it's this statistical analysis of something for most people looking from the outside, has more of like a visceral feeling. So the typical kind of example is like, hey, if someone shoots my wife and pew-pews my wife and she's standing right next to me and then she's unalive, and he runs into a church, and I take out an AK-47 and I aim at the church, and then now after I've unalived all those people and didn't even get the guy who did it, now I'm arguing with you about whether or not it was 100 people in the church, 300 people in the church, and what percent of them were children. That's what it kind of sounds like. You're kind of like not seeing the larger picture, as far as that we see a year of the exact same behavior from this entity, where they tell people they can leave and they scare them into the section and then they unalive them there. And then now that they're doing the exact same playbook in a completely different country, makes it very hard to be like, well, yeah, maybe it was 35,000 instead of 35,002. It's not important. It's important what you're doing. And if you're going to say that it's not genocide, fine. It's ethnic cleansing. It's based on the apartheid state. There's no defense for one side using the government to maintain hierarchy above another side, and especially if you're going to scare them all around and then bomb them while they're going to the different places that you're telling them they can be safe in. These numbers are completely unimportant, and I understand maybe you didn't bring it up, but I'm just making that larger point so we can move on to like what the room is actually doing.
Yeah, but I would probably contest with like the apartheid, all of the buzzwords that usually Palis use, but the ethnic cleansing, apartheid, genocide, whatever you want to say. But there was no like response to what I said regarding to why the numbers are fabricated. By the way, Jacob, you made like a few other. No, I know. No,
right, so why was anybody under an obligation to respond to it?
Did I say anyone is under obligation?
You just said you didn't hear a response to it, implying that somebody was under an obligation to respond to it.
Wait.
Is this your thing? You just played
I didn't say, Piper. I didn't say that anyone has the obligation. I
know you didn't explicitly say
Piper, once again. I didn't also imply that. You know why I didn't imply that? Because I know that anyone here doesn't have a response to it. Not that they have an obligation, they can.
So when you...
Jacob, once again, no, Piper, fuck. Just chill. Jacob, what was the other point that you were making?
Wait, so I'm not allowed to respond to that?
I really, I feel like you're, too dumb to even respond to anything.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way about you fucking useless piece of shit.
Okay, Piper. I'm useless piece of shit. Jacob, what
yes,
was
you
the
are
other point that you were making?
You do this fucking condescending bullshit, right? You fill up the room with it, and then when someone calls it out, right, then you sideline me, because you don't have a response to anything I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't have any response. Piper, you...
Everybody stop. Let's not let it escalate. I muted everybody, by the way. Let's chill, please.
Okay, Jacob, what was the other point that you were making?
Yeah, I think you addressed many of it. I can't remember the ones you haven't. Maybe you've done all of them. I can't remember.
How is it not an apartheid state? Could you explain that?
Yeah, because there is no racial segregation within Israel. Jacob, do you want
to hear that?
No racial segregation.
What did you say?
What? There's no tiers of...
What?
In Israel?
No.
Are you sure?
I can't hear him, Piper. Of your what?
You can't hear what I'm saying? I'm asking you.
No, yeah, because someone interrupted you with what?
Oh, okay, fine. Are you?
Yeah, like you do to me.
No.
Go ahead, Divine, can you?
So, if there's not two tiers, then that means that all citizens, whether or not they're Israeli Jews, Palestinian Jews, all can travel to the same places, have access to the same places like water and food. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. All of the citizens have the exact same. Yeah, that's correct. All of the citizens of Israel has the exact same rights and freedoms.
Are all
This
Arabs
is
that are in
fallacious.
Israel
This
have
is not true.
citizenship?
That's not true.
I know that.
Okay, well, how is it not true?
I mean, because
How is it not true?
You're lying.
Give me one right that the Jew have that the Arab doesn't have, or any ethnic group has that the other ethnic group doesn't have.
I like how he does this thing where he makes a claim, doesn't back it up, and then demands other people to back up the claim.
Oh yeah. Wait. Do I need to? Wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yes,
want me
you
to-
do. Yes, you do.
Wait, 1 second.
When you
One
say
second,
there
1
isn't
second,
apartheid,
1 second,
and then you just repeat the claim that there isn't apartheid, and you interrupt me constantly, and you sideline me. So how about you shut the fuck up? Anyway,
Okay,
so when you're trying to make the case that, oh, there isn't apartheid, and you just repeatedly say that over and over again in different words, and then when people say, oh, well, that sounds like bullshit to me, and then you go, oh, give me one instance of racial discrimination, you're just shifting the burden of proof.
Okay, it seems to me like you are done. In order for me to say that there isn't an apartheid, I need to go law by law and see whether or not it has any type of a difference between Arabs and Jews, right?
Yeah.
What I can do for you, Piper. So
I need to back up my claims.
We'll do 10,000. We'll do the 10,000 rights of that Israelis have and laws that are in the Knesset, and we'll go one by one. Do you want to do that, Piper? Is that what you want?
If that's going to substantiate your claim, yeah. If that's going to substantiate your claim, yes. If that's going to substantiate your claim, yes.
Okay, I'll do you one better. Okay, right. There is an organization called an NGO Monitor. Usually, all of the claims of apartheid are usually made by two organizations. One is Amnesty International. The other one is Human Rights Watch. NGO Monitor made an article showing 300 different problems. Right, 300 putting like dead citations. Double standards in regards to their arguments whether or not it's apartheid or not apartheid, where other countries are not considered to be apartheid, while they have even more egregious state of affairs, literal lies in all of those claims and so on and so forth. I'll just post the link.
Okay, so if I say there is apartheid and I post the link to whatever the Human Rights Watch report or whatever, right, some document that backs up what I'm saying purportedly, then I've backed up my claim that there is apartheid?
Yeah, you did, and then I rebut your article. With
So
the
the way that we argue about
this,
is we post links that purport to support what we're saying, and we vaguely allude to them.
No, wait, not vaguely allude to them. We can.
That's what you just did.
If you want to. No, we can.
You vaguely alluded to the points. What I'm saying is, how about you make it
Okay. I'm sorry. So, if I take all of the accusations, supposedly, right, Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch made claims, right, and did their own analysis to prove that Israel is an apartheid. If I show you, right, another analysis of their own article, right, that debunks that, we have
yes, you show me an argument, and I'll concede that you have an argument. How about you provide the argument?
I didn't provide the argument.
Yes, I know. That's my complaint.
We're not. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
Divine. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Let's just talk about the apartheid.
Yeah, you couldn't run away.
Oh, so I look at
Piper. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a deductive argument for you because I don't know why.
I didn't demand a deductive argument. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, 1 second.
I demanded an argument other than just vague gesticulation.
Okay, yeah. So there is an analysis, okay, that shows that all of the claims about apartheid, right, are false. Right.
What is the analysis?
A cumulative case.
What is the analysis?
The analysis is over, for example, all of the claims that the pro-apartheid people are making, right? and debunks those
Yeah, it
claims,
seems to
and
me
we
that
can
he
go
does-
and we can go claim by claim. I have no problem with going
Wait,
with you.
why would that establish anything? You're trying to establish a case that Israel, right, has equal protections and rights for all citizens.
Yeah, because it does.
Yeah, you can assert that. I don't care about you asserting that. The point is that just asserting that over and over again doesn't amount to showing that it's the case. I'm not sure why you're having a hard time understanding.
You repeating that it's not the case doesn't show that it's not.
I didn't do that!
One second. I understand. Piper, if you argue, okay, let me put it in some type
Are we just gonna do another conditional, or are you gonna give me the argument?
No. I'll give you like a deductive argument. One second, I'll need to write it down. I know that you didn't ask for me, but this will make it like easier to digest for you, I think.
Okay.
1 second, let me just write this down.
You're also saying, like, Brody is, you maintain that, like, the people of Gaza are not Israeli citizens, right?
Correct, they are not Israeli citizens.
Okay, right. So this is where Brody's point is. No matter what happens.
Well, no, the apartheid claims are often applied to the West Bank.
Well, even that being the case, well, are the people of the West Bank Israeli citizens?
The point is that they're under occupation by Israel, even if they're not considered
Right,
citizens.
but I think that he's doing this, like, thing where it's like, if they're not Israeli citizens, then
Yeah, that would just be retarded, because putting them under occupation and then subjecting them to systematic discrimination would still be apartheid.
Yeah, that's kind of how
Yes. Just to be clear, I was talking to Divine about his claim about this.
Yeah, after you multiple times tried to sideline me and I didn't let
No, I have no problem with talking to you.
Wait, are you really this dishonest? You say I have no problem talking to you after you are talking over me right now!
No, wait, just to be clear, right now I was talking.
I'm sorry, that was me. I'm sorry, guys. We do need to end this room so we can do some feedback. I don't know if Congress is there to start now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send it to